Evanet. He's got a lot more vision in these cars compared to the TA2. He'll be looking in both sides.
Like trying to pitch a submarine into a hairpin here.
It's just not going to break away though. It's really that a little bit of toe down these straights, especially with the very even amount of power these cars have. Looks like their setup's very similar too. A little bit of a wiggle there, those bumps that add a bit of character, I suppose, you come in under brake. They're not massive, but just enough, especially when you're sitting on a rigid vehicle like this to unsettle it potentially.
It's interesting to see how much of the curves these Formula Fords are able to use as Williams pitches it down the inside. I just love the respect and the room that these young guns are able to give themselves. Rowe in with a sniff now, trying to get all over the back of the number 88 of Lachlan Evanet. Evanet trying to fight back. This will be the quickest position swap. They've really only done one a lap. That's two in the one go.
Sometimes I think the best defence is to attack. And that's when you can see Evanet, like he could have tried to defend off Rowe there, and that'll get you caught in a little bit of a battle and slow you down. Now look, they're all trying to break the stream. The toe. Williams doesn't decide to go out on his own. He stays with Evanet, and Rowe tries to grab a bit of fresh air. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay off for him.
Rowe really looking to make amends for race one and find his way up into that second step of the podium. But Williams is just absolutely undeniable.
I don't know how Rowe gets his nose. He needs to watch out. Force it now, getting on the back of this pack, and that's down to 1 second now. Our top four can throw a towel over at the moment. Less than 1 second from first to fourth.
Williams thought better of the speculator on the run into four. And will tuck in behind. Slight moment there for Kobe Williams, the ACM Finance Spectrum chassis with a 1600cc Ford Duratec.
All hiding it out, Williams now, but that car's starting to move around now.
2 minutes and 30 seconds, Matt.
Did they set the car up at the start of the race, or potentially at the end as the temperatures come up with those tyres, or how much have they used up doing going position for position? We know Lachlan Evanet has a very different run out of turn number 3. We watch him go very, very wide. Seems to be where the car's most comfortable for him. Potentially that's just looking after the tyres a fraction better. Can't really tell at this stage as you see a bit of a gap open up from between Rowe and Forster now, and they're back to third position. And as Evanet Williams just move away potentially from Rowe. Well, potentially, I mean, a couple of tenths of a second. Just give himself some breathing space. See how wide he goes there, doesn't he, Evanet? It's a very different line, but it gives him this run down. We saw that in the legend cars as well from Pring.
Is this the killing stroke? Kobe Williams sneaks the nose cone up, checks up Lachlan Evanet. It was for all fair in love and war, but it was a hard move.
Not in the final minute. That's when it starts.
And the fight back.
Have a look at this. Evanet around the outside. Can he hold on to it? We've seen Williams' car slide a little bit coming onto the main straight. Does it hold on? Evanet tucks him behind. And the last lap board is out. One final lap. How many times can the lead change? And have a look at Rowe right at the back. Picking up a bit of straight rubber down the main straight. I'll duck and weave that. Bit of debris flying around. A lick of flame coming out of the exhaust of Williams as he tries to hold out Evanet as they head down this back straight.
Quick check in the mirrors. Kobe Williams all over it. Ducks across to the inside to cover off any advance. He's got the track position. Heavy on the brakes as Lachlan Evanet. Last of the late breakers. They're side by side in 3. Evanet takes his usual line. Rowe right up under the gearbox now, just about.
He's definitely leaving an impression on the back of that casing. Oh no, he goes to the outside again. He just can't get down the inside as Williams covers off, and Rowe takes advantage of this. He puts the nose in. Hurts Evanet's run though down this little straight down into turn number 6. And now we're going to force it in the background. He's got a big advantage. He might get on the podium here as well. Rowe, can he hold him out in the final corner? Williams looks like he's got the advantage coming onto the main straight as the checkered flag comes out. Evidence right behind him. He's not going to get him, but we'll force it and get Rowe. It's a battle for third position there. And it looks like Rowe will hold on and get back to the podium from fifth position. Lowing will be back in fifth.
Well, that's right. There was another 10 cars in this race. We were so focused on what was going on. This is the battle for 7th and 8th between Fitzgerald and Fraser High. Fitzgerald locks up 7th, Fraser in 8th. And Formula Ford turning it up. Torty, big lock up on the run into the final corner of the 55 machine.
They'll let Johnson buy him with a reprieve in the final moments of this race. You're almost there. You've just got to hold that calm, cool, collective nature right up to the last corner and see if you can just get across that finish line. But another very exciting Formula Ford race from these young guns who are really turning it on out there at the moment. I don't think we could have asked for any more out of that one as Kobe Williams comes home with the win over Lachlan. Evident that they fought it out from start to finish. Jamie Rowe powering his way back up onto the podium from 5th position. Didn't put a foot wrong really in that one. Then it's Fawcett who almost got him to the finishing line, followed by Lowing, James, Fitzgerald, Fraser High, Jack Johnson and Andrew Toy. One of the names there, unfortunately, it is Duncan Ambrose, who did not finish the race with some mechanical issues there, and they are down in the pits furiously trying to get that fixed, because we've got plenty more races coming from the Formula Fords tomorrow. But let's have a look at some of our race highlights. J-Mac, I'll tell you what, the start at this point, I was Evident and Williams went straight to it in turn number 1.
Absolutely unmatched in the rivalry out there on track, but good, clean racing. We did see Cody Williams with some hard moves. I did love the way that Evident was just able to recover every single time and take it right back to him. That's a big look out of the cockpit. Evident super late on the brakes here. Cody Williams giving him just enough room and able to secure that position. This was another master stroke from Lachlan Evident. Coming into this race fresh, he didn't have a grueling 20 minutes of TA2 muscle cars to warm him up for this Formula Ford race. And here we go, this is that big moment off track for Hunter Salvatore, who unfortunately wasn't able to finish that race.
No, it wasn't our crew to a little bit of work. They'll need to replace those signs before the next race. They just continued on, didn't they? Evident and Williams just kept us in anticipation of where were they going to take the dive, how was it going to unfold. And we thought they were going to touch wheels at any moment. They left just enough room to sneak those cars through. And this was, they came out of the final corner. Williams had finally opened up just enough gap, but it was there. Third position where we almost saw Jamie Rowe lose it to unfortunately for Fawcett. So it's a bit of change here when it comes to the points. There's a lot to be played for. As next up we can see it's going to be our Plasma Man Australian Super Tin Top Championships coming out, of course, with our Australian Trans Am Utes and Hot Hatches are next on our vision. Don't go anywhere. There's plenty more action coming your way. Oil Super Series is starting to get a little bit twilight out there. It's been later in the afternoon, and our Play for Man Australian Super Tip-Tops are on track. Kane joins me back in the commentary box to take us through all the action. Yes, the Man of Steel is alongside me. He's got the big smile on, got the pecs popping. He's ready to get this race underway. Of course, we've got not just our Play for Man Australian Super Tip-Tops out there, we've also got our Trans Am new Hot Hatches competitors as well. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. We've got a standing still start from our competitors here with the Super TT, and we've got a bit of a rolling start in the background there from our Trans Am. Josh, this has got to be a tricky one to try and look at the start.
Definitely, it's going to be a very busy start. We just saw an awesome race with Formula Ford, so looking forward to this one. We've got another 20-minute race, and yeah, there's a lot of action to come.
Plenty of action. Brent Edwards was going to start at the front row of the grid with Tony Saint as well. Edwards in that Cable Source Falcon was very strong, got the race run win, and it's, I think he said it's been a couple of seasons since he's been on the podium, so he'll be looking good. As you see the red lights come up, we're about to get this race underway. Who's going to get the jump? Bit of a jump from Ryder there in the background, wasn't there, in the S13? Yeah, the other one to watch out for is Cothill. Now that's that Honda-powered Toyota 86 who's losing a lot of power, and I think he's got a drama. Potentially a loss of power, could be an inch or bite or something silly like that. As have a look at the Jägermeister entry to the BMW. That is jumped into the field into fourth position. But 44 has been super quick as well. And that's Arnold in the R33. He's going to slot back in there.
Yeah, really close start there. You obviously saw the number 98 car jumped a little bit there. Not sure what's going on with the 86 there. That's interesting. So we'll have to see what the go is.
Yeah, we'll just wait and let that unfold. In the meantime, here's our Trans Ams as they roll around. You see them, they get started. This one we will have to fight. Prefontaine and Ian Palmer on the front row there, and we'll just wait and see who's going to be able to make Prefontaine on the inside. Looks like the 21, and then our Utes, they fire up for their section of the race as well. A little bit further back in this race. Oh, look, the Trans Ams, there's some really glorious classic cars there, and if you were to take these home and put them in the shed, I know you're all going to be pretty happy to have a couple sitting in there.
Oh yeah, especially this time of day, you got the sun going down. It's pretty cool seeing these things go around. They sound unreal. So yeah, really, really nice.
Yeah, a couple of superannuation funds there for sure. As we know, we'll try and get to all of them and look some fantastic cars in the Marvels, the Trans Ams. Get down the track. There's quite a few of them to get through too. We got the Duster, the Plymouth Duster out there. That is just absolutely gorgeous. Brent Edwards though in the 18, looks like he's got this under control at the moment. Arnold up in the second. Shelby with a big work in the BMW to get up to third, and Ryder, 5-second penalties just come up, and that I'm assuming will be for that race start where he probably got a metre head start on everyone else.
Yeah, Shelby had a good race in the last one. Unfortunately, he dropped off. I'm not sure what went on there, but yeah, he's made some ground to start off this race, and he's got plenty of time to try and bring it up a bit further.
Anthony's, that's the Jägermeister entry in fifth position as well as our Trans Ams out there, and there's still a little bit of damage that the 65 has underway from Jack Hudson, and again he's behind his foe there in the 555 of Anthony Itzer, where they just made a little bit of contact coming into that turn. Number 6 was almost like a bit of a replay there. We can feel a bit of a flashback happening there. How gorgeous though is that? Rod Robertson in that Ford Mercury Comet. He had a bit of a moment on his own last time as the big Comet spun out. He looks like around the outside he's going to be pretty safe this time. James Buchanan on the inside, and the Z28 Camaro has a dive down the inside, and I'll tell you what, I'd let him through too. I wouldn't want to hurt the Comet.
I was going to say, I'll tell you what, for how nice those cars look, you don't want to be dropping panels in this sort of racing, but yeah, they're racing pretty hard out there.
It's a bit like when you look at the Touring Car Masters, don't you? You just know the value of those cars today, and look, you know, everything starts to go up in value as they age, and we use a few of them for racing. Simon Cox just in the background of that 45 machine as well. Great to have him here this weekend. I know he got a bit of a taste when it came to the Australian Super TT racing, and in that 350 GT. And he said, you know, I can't give this up now. I've got a couple of Queensland to make it happen. Dennis Panner, though, the MX-5. It almost looks like bringing a knife to a gunfight, doesn't it? The little MX-5 over the Falcon, although that Falcon's not holding the boost on board. That is an actually aspirated 6-cylinder version. So potentially the power to weight starts to even out a little bit.
You can see the number 65 and the number 20 racing pretty hard out there. There's just been a move done.
Yeah, Albert Bishop, the Pontiac Firebird, always presents a nice car there. Palmersteel.com.au, Trans Am. Oh no, the Jägermeister car is out. Simon Anthony's, can he get the car going? The Queensland entry. The Rubbercraft Tyres car, the 36. That'll be unfortunate for him. That BMW actually was pretty big in Sydney as well, so potentially always up there for a place getter in the top 5 somewhere. Tony Saint's the one for me, back into 5th position, so just starting to fall away in the RX-7s, but have a look at these utes as they get around. The number 7 car there.
It's a cool category, this. There's so many different cars. You can see, you know, each car has its own strength around the track, and obviously this track's got the big, long straights, but it's also got some pretty technical corners, obviously being nicknamed the paperclip, so yeah, it brings a lot of exciting racing.
So a little replay here, Tony Saint getting position over Ryder, and that puts Saint up into 4th position, so just didn't quite at the start he wanted. He was off the front row in 2nd and went back to 5th position now, just working his way back through the pack. Simon Cox is going to follow Dennis Panner as they go down here. That's a bit of a fight further down the pack. That's for 8th position now, and you can see Petit just behind in that Dual Performance engine entry there in the Falcon. If Aaron's had his hand on that engine, it makes probably a little bit more horsepower than standard.
There's Warren Wadley. He's one of the Trans Am drivers. He's been around quite a while, so pretty cool to see him out there in this thing.
I like the Channel 9 though, on the side of the car. It really has that nostalgic look about it, doesn't it? A very simple blue and yellow they had back in the day. The good old Sports, 9 Sports. Have a look at the Valvoline sticker on the back drop tank as well. It's a bit of nostalgia. Reminds me of a bit more of my childhood.
Very, very cool.
Here we go, the utes are starting to mix it up now. Looks like it's going to be the 70.
This is an awkward one here. Coming through turn 1, you don't usually go side by side, so they've done well to get through together. Same through this one. It's a really long sweeping corner, so both drivers sort of have to give each other enough for him to come out of this.
It brings the Brew Ute style back a little bit, doesn't it? I'm sure there's a couple of these that have gone. It's Montgomery and Young, I think, there. Oh, look at right on the inside, flying the LS Powered S13, plenty of power. Took his time, not like his star. Just waiting for his moment.
Yeah.
Aubrey Gillette's another one who did finish the last race with the Australian Super Tin Tops, and he's very fast in the 27th machine as well. So he'll work his way back through the pack. Try and get some news out of him overnight and find out what happened with that car, because he's had to fight his way back. The good news is he's probably looked after his tyres this weekend, because he normally likes to slide the car around in the final few laps of the race.
Yes.
It's not what he goes out there to do. It just happens sometimes.
Oh, it's pretty easy to do in one of these cars. You get pretty greedy. Yeah, it doesn't take long to tear the tyres off them.
Look at Chilby. He's got to a lead now in the Plasma Man Australian Super Tin Top. So in that category, he's flying in the BMW. And Chilby now starting to go through our Trans Am field. Have a look at the pace difference. There's such a great chassis when it comes to the BMW as well. I think well weighted, the 2-door version as well. Really a great platform for any race car where you want to start. As Brett Edwards now working his way through the Trans Am cars as well. And here we hope a boost comes up on the Barra. Oh no.
No. That's one thing you don't like to see.
Robinson and the Comet. I'm happy though, it's straight and it's unscratched.
Exactly. It's always good.
We could put that in the car show out the back straight after this, couldn't we? Just put a white down.
That's where it should be. I don't think it should be out on track. It's too fast. You don't want to scratch that.
Would you turn down a drive though?
No, you'd never turn down a drive. Warren Wadley there making it quite easy for Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards got a bit of braking, I'd say. The late model car there, just let him go around. Arnold's had an opportunity to close up though, I think, while Edwards has been working through these Trans Am cars. So Arnold now just 1 second behind Edwards, and this could. Then we got a bit of a battle. Remembering Edwards did take the win there in race number 1. Probably due to Chilby falling back through the pack, which was still just trying to dissect and find out what happened there. Oh, here we go.
3 wide down the back straight here. This is on.
2 Mustangs, the 21 of Prefontaine. And Zach Hudson in the 65, Prefontaine.
Battle of the late breaker.
Yeah, he's wide though. Have a look at this. He's sliding the car just a little bit. Prefontaine, he's got that damage. Got a bit of a cold air intake going on. Missing that headlight now.
It's another drag race up the back straight towards turn 4. It's a tricky one here. I've had a couple battles through here. You can go too wide. Sometimes it doesn't end too well.
It's all about how much you slide out of the corner, isn't it? Because the person on the outside doesn't want to set grass.
Yeah.
They're going to hold on to that one. The Utes, so Young just in front of Montgomery now. Looks like he cemented that spot. And then we got Casper in the Holden Commodore Ute just behind that. So that's 23rd, 24th, 25th overall, but within the Ute category, I do believe that may be our leaders. You see the white Ute out front. It's like 63 might be leading us the moment. That's Clark.
Clark's got a nice gap there.
Yeah, Peter Clark, he's just holding on that one. Proud supporter with a big line down the side, obviously a Holden fan. 2 Holdens at the front by the looks of it. Ryder. We know how fast this is running. Look, Corey Gillette, they're teaming up on these Trans Am cars.
Ryder and Gillette, this is close here. Nice move down the inside there. Let's see.
I told you Gillette will slide that car around. He doesn't mind risking it. He likes to grab the lock. Have a look at him down the straight though. That's a drag race and a half. Now here we go. Tony Saint up in 3rd position at the moment. Oh, this was it. Oh, big break lock. Corey Gillette. Oh, he was coming in hot.
Yeah, the tyres, you're gonna know about that now.
That's a chattering on the front, you reckon?
Yeah, that's a big lock up. You're gonna know about that.
Don't need to ask where the vibration's coming from.
No, definitely not.
On Ryder seemed to have the horsepower down the main straight. I don't know if he's got a couple more cubic inches on that one or he's got a good run. 17 car in the background, Laura Ball actually coming out of our combined Tim Tops class. Shelby goes back again.
He's dropped down again, so something's clearly going on there. He had a nice gap out the front and he's dropped off again.
We're seeing with some of those fast moving doubles, maybe a brake lock up, just gone for a bit of an excursion, or whether they've got some mechanical issues in the car. It'd be great to find out there from Shelby. So Edwards staying strong, and it's all about consistency. He's had a couple of races at the start of the season and the last season where it didn't go to plan. His checkered flag is out, and Edwards will take the win. So Shelby just had to get another lap or two in. He would have got a race win here at Queensland Race. So Brett Edwards will go 2 from 2 this time. Arnold in 2nd position. Saint ends up on the 3rd step of the podium. Ryder in 4th at the moment as Gillette. Yep, Ryder will hold out Gillette. Shelby comes around. Just wait, Dennis Patter and a few others starting. Morris. Oh no, is that Prefontaine at the 21? Had a spin. Just trying to see, hasn't crossed the finish line yet either, so won't hold on to that place. We look at the race results for race number 2 of the Plasma Man Super Tip Tops. Well, that Trans Am, Brett Edwards will take the overall win with Benny Arnold. Then Tony Saint rounding out the podium. Just back to Peter Ryder, Corey Gillette. Shelby back to 6th, and we'll try and find out what's going on. Ricketts in the Giant Killer Pulsar in 7th. Edson with the flight back in Trans Am and Hudson and Prefontaine to round out our top 10. The muscle is back after this short break as the TA2s get ready to battle it out in race number 2. Don't go anywhere.
TA2 muscle cars in slow-mo. A beautiful day here as Queensland Raceway hosts round 3 of the Hi-Tech Oil Super Series. Can they stop this guy? Road active suspension, Chevrolet entry. Meantime, over at the drifting carnival, just behind our commentary position, it is a full spoke show. Back in pit lane, Colby Callum is lining up for his second ever race. TA2 muscle cars. We look from Brad Gardner's Hi-Tech Oil Chevy Camaros. We welcome you back to Queensland Raceway and the TA2 muscle car second race of the day as we start to give it a nightlight here, and the production car race to follow tonight into the early evening. Matt Kavanagh has stuck around. Nate, you're doing some kilometres in this commentary box today, my friend.
That's all right, Niles. We don't mind doing that. You're going to do the heavy lifting, though. I know that. You know what I mean? I'll do the endurance. You do the sprint race, all right? We're going to make this happen. The TA2 muscle cars getting ready. Presented by Maritimo, of course, here at Queensland Raceway. The 2 days of thunder. Day number 1. And I tell you what, you put on a massive show here. Jared Hughes is the man, though, at the moment. But this unique restart that they've decided to do now with the more NASCAR style where they're rolling around and actually be our pole sitter that has a section of racetrack to start this race, which was a very clean start last time. We didn't see the 4 and 5 carnage that we've seen in some other races throughout Trans Am and TA2. So, you know, a very good start. Caught Alice Buckley offside because she's been super quick in her rookie appearance, or her inaugural appearance in TA2 as well. So she got relegated back a bit on the outside, and that's the trick, I think, going into turn number 1 is don't be on the outside.
Yeah, and you know what? It's going to add another twist to qualifying tomorrow, which you'll catch on our live stream. First up at the Hi-Tech Oil Super Series in the morning is the key is to be on pole position or on the inside roads because it is dusty on the outside there. So I caught a few of the drivers out during that first start. But across the field, most were quite happy with how it went down. I thought to me, everybody held back a little bit there as they stood, just to see where it would go. But it could be a little bit different for this second one. James Simpson, the SP Tools Dodge Charger, one of 4 we have in the field here. And Queensland Raceway, good to see the Dodge. You and I were lobbying for this at the first round at Winton. There was a lack of Dodges. Well, they've come and delivered here for the first of 2 stops at Queensland Raceway. We'll be here in August for the 2-driver race. We've got some really good names that are going to be announced in the coming weeks who will suit up with our regular drivers. They'll get a qualifying and a race themselves on the Saturday and Sunday before an endurance race. So there's some cool names, some big names. I'm not going to give too much away, but you might be surprised by some of the names that are heading this way in August for our next event before heading to Mallala in South Australia. Looking forward to that in September, the first time TA2 muscle cars. Now, that'll be cool to race there because that track's narrow and it's got a lot of passing opportunities too. And apart from the fact it's a track I grew up in anyway. So we're looking forward to that one, of course, finishing up at Winton Motor Raceway at the end of October. Big plans for next season with the TA2 muscle cars. Out they go, and conditions have cooled off dramatically since we were last out for the first race at 1 o'clock local time here in Queensland. You just feel that crisp air starting to kick in. So the engineers and the drivers will need to keep an eye on that. It'll change over this next 25 minutes of racing here. We saw 2 cars go off earlier today. We saw the Hayden Jackson car go off early in the race. There was a gearbox that caused him to go off there in the 81 Dodge Challenger. And for Mark Crutcher, a broken uni joint on the final lap stopped him. And Crutch was inside the top 10 until that point, and possibly could be the hard charger today, coming from 22nd on the grid for this second race.
Well, the other one's Brett Gardner now. He limped that car home with a uni joint issue as well. So we wondered why he wasn't normally as fast as he could be. We saw the Hail Mary in Sydney where he rode the wall on the restart, didn't he? He just dove down the inside and took 4 positions. So watch for Gardner, the aggression that he will show at the start of this. Now, Robbie Farr, was it a shift back to first? Did we find out? No.
I did a chance. I was too scared.
Yeah, you go in the curve and you don't want to show your face around it.
I might send him a message later tonight. Bulletproof glass, perhaps. Colby Callum, his first start was a great one for him. 22nd up into 16th for the first run. He's come from production car racing, and after a trouble-plagued day yesterday with some issues with his engine during practice, that's a good turnaround for that team. So he'll start from 16th, the grid determined by the result of yesterday's last afternoon's race. They're on their second formation lap, heading past the pits, and we'll do the same. Here's Joe Mack.
So, quick update from the TFH team. Looks like Ben Gomersall has sacrificed a tyre with a rock causing a major puncture. That tyre non-salvageable. Also, updates on Diesel Thomas's electrical gremlins. Looks like there was a loose connection in the back of the dash that was causing some problems with connectivity. Everything sorted and looking to go hard and fast.
Simple issue like we saw with the Pacini car before in the Australian Production Car Series. Thank you, Jared McLean. I believe the price will be in the picks for this one. Josh Thomas, who will start this race from the third row of the grid. Now, after today, we reach...
Did you hear? Buddy Pet Insurance provides cover and helps to make a difference.
Oh, could this guy take another check home? He's in hot form, isn't he? Jared Hughes starts from pole.
Jared Hughes starts from pole. Ben Gomersall, Tom Davies, Alice Buckley, Arden Hodson, Josh Thomas, Diesel Thomas, Hayden Hume, Josh Webster, Lachlan Evident starting P10 in this race. Chev Camaro, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Brock Payne in P11. Graham Cheney in P12. Tyler Cheney in P13. Brad Gardner in P14. James Simpson, P15. Robbie Farr, P21. Mark Crutcher, P22. And Hayden Jackson in P23. Watch out for Robbie Farr to make his way through the grid. We have the 118 on the front row of the grid. It's followed by the 35 and then the 150 in behind. This is going to be a rolling start. We are on board here with Brett Gardner. He's a bit further piled down the field than what he would have liked. It's time for the TA2 muscle cars and the green flag waves, and we're racing here. It's a good start from Cheney, who will take the run down into turn number 1. Does he though? Yes, he does. All these muscle cars get through not quite nicely. 24 minutes to go in this one. 25 out of a 25-minute race. Brad Gardner, who's trying to make his way through the field. I think he's up a few positions from where he started. Davies dropped into P2. It's going to be a drag race up into turn 3. One of many hairpins. Very slow. Hughes, Davies in P2. Gomersall, Thomas, and Hume in P5. What a start from Hughes, who started off pole and will take into turn 1. I thought it was Cheney who was leading. It wasn't Cheney who was actually leading there into turn 1. There's a few battles back down the field. A few lockups there from one of the TFH hire cars. That's car number 18. Further back, bit further back down the field. Mark Crutcher has not got a good start. He's down in P20 as that is a car off the road. That is the number 32 off the road down there at the final corner. This is the sprint before the endurance here before we head into the improved productions for the 2-hour endurance race. 23 minutes to go. It's still Hughes leading, 0.4 of a second. Of course, no pit stops in these races. Hughes leading at this point in time, but there's going to be a few little slipstreaming games we're just going to see throughout this race. That is Aiden Jackson in the pits, the number 81 grey and gold car in the pit lane, quite sadly, and will not be taking further part in this one. That is the number 33 right around the outside, using every bit of curb on the outside as well. So using curb a bit of curb and more there for Payne. So he's converting his way around. I think that was that move on Cheney. He was able to get that move done. He actually dropped back to P14 there, so just that run over the curb didn't exactly help him, as this is the battle for the lead. Hughes in P1, Davies in P2. That battle brewing, 0.2 of a second, that margin as they close up on each other. There'll be a bit of slipstreaming games to go on down that front straight. They will run into turn 1, and then shortly after turn 2, the long right-hander of turn 2, they all slide right out of turn 3, getting real sideways. Hughes leading, but it's by just a slipstream margin of about 0.2 of a second. Davies in P2. Does he get the move done? No, it's around the outside, but he couldn't get the move done. That is the number 81. Back out onto the circuit of Jackson. There, good to see. There was no real fault with that car. I think that was the car that we heard there that had a rock stuck inside that rubber. So he wasn't able to get the car, well, physically off the line, more or less. Hughes leading over Davies. It's first and second for Hughes and Davies. The 118 of Hughes who will be wanting some pretty good points in this one. We're on board with Farr, who's down in P18 at the moment. Crutcher, who's also trying to make his way up the field, who's just in behind him. He's currently chasing down Roberts in P17. So on the chase there, as this is the battle for 4th and 5th of Hume and Thomas. And then a bit further back of Hodson and Webster, the number 200 racing driver. Sorry, that's the number 50 there. So Cheney, the two Cheney brothers having a good go at each other. The 150 and the 200 as well. Buckley and Webster also having a battle as we keep cutting off to all these interesting battles. If we just keep an eye on that lead, it's 0.4 between those two. Buckley and Webster, P8 and P9. This is going to be a move here for Buckley. He moves to the inside. He will get this move done as you get into turn 1. Is he the last of the leg breakers? No, he isn't. But there's a bit of a lock up there from Webster. And that's number 63 off the road. I think that's Mark Crutcher who went off the road there. That's the TFA Trier driver of Mark Crutcher who went off the road. That is the move done for Buckley. He will get that move done over Webster. He's a bit of the curb there on the inside, but he will get that move done ever so conveniently. He move back to the outside there for Hodson. Moving back to the outside. Sorry, that's Buckley who moves back to the outside. Can he get the move done? Webster leaving the room. Sorry, Buckley leaving. Yeah, Webster leaving the room. Does he get the move done? Who's that? That's Evanet in behind him. Looking up the inside. They're going to be side by side down the back straight. Well, what is the back straight? There's going to be 3 corners to go before you hit the front straight. And I think here is turn 1. There you go. Can he keep the car stable? Yes, he can. They're still going to be side by side here as they run out of the third final corner. So they're going to be still running side by side, Webster and Evanet. That is a lock up there. I think that was from Buckley. Buckley with a lock up. And I think he's just been able to I think he's just lost a position there. This is what happened to Crutcher. Mark Crutcher. Is that the right front? So yeah, you can just see the right front squealing straight off the road for Buckley. 18 minutes to go here. Hughes leads this race by 0.4 of a second as the sun goes down here at Queensland Raceway. The sun dropping here, and the temperatures are also going to be dropping as well. So temperatures and all sort of things like that are just going to continue to drop here as we ride on board with Gartner. This is the number 22. In the number 22 of Gartner. A bit further back than what he would have wanted. This is Brad Gartner. The high-tech oils livery. As he will try and make some moves. Possibly. As he looks around the outside. I'm not sure that is on Cheney. So he's actually able to get that move done there on Cheney, I think. More or less. Does he get it done? There's going to be a bit of contact possibly from the two cars in front. They're going to run 2 by 2. I think that was Cheney, one of the Cheney brothers, was just able to sneak back in behind. But Gartner will be approaching Cheney. He'll get down the inside possibly. He certainly will. Gartner making moves. He's up nearly 5 spots here. He got the move done on Evanet, but I think Evanet's just up the inside. Just not going to get that move done. He's still on here with Gartner. It's very much a slipstreaming game going on here between these drivers. 17 minutes to go still in this race. As there's a car off in the background. I think that was Roberts off in the background. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Roberts, but it was Simpson off in the background. So we cut back to this battle between Evanet, Gartner, and Payne. Also followed by, there's Crutcher, so he's made his way a bit further up the field. So Crutcher making his moves after that off early on in the race. Gartner just holding on. You see, this is really about this battle between two Cheney brothers, Evanet, Gartner, Webster, and Buckley. It's sort of turning into a slipstream battle. So Buckley down to Gartner, Payne. So yeah, practically P8 to P14. It's a slipstreaming game here. And it's if one person makes a mistake, you can capitalize here. You will be able to capitalize on the person in front of you that might make a mistake. And when I say might, I mean might make a mistake. It is not certain that they'll make a mistake though. Top 3, Hughes, Davies and Gomersall in P1, P2 and P3. It's these 3 battling it for the top step of the podium. Hughes, Davies and Gomersall. Again, this is another little slipstream battle. But if you can just get yourself involved in between this lead, back to Thomas, it's nearly 4, it's actually 4 seconds. 4 seconds on the dot, though, the top 4. So that's quite a margin there between the top 4. Hughes and Davies, it's 0.2 between the 2 at the moment. That margin just increasing, so Hughes able to get the corner exit speed that he wants, so he's able to get on the power a bit earlier, able to not let those rear wheels spin. This is what happens here with, that's what happens there with Simpson. So again, that's Brett Gardner who's able to just make those 2 positions from a few cars going off, and just I think that was rear tyres locking up there from Evernet. I thought that was the Simpson off, but that was Evernet off the road. So it must have been one that we missed. Hughes really on here to try and defend his position. Davies to the outside. Sadly, it's Hughes that has the inside run for the next corner. Davies hangs it around the outside at turn, that is at turn 6. He hangs it right around the outside. Right around there. He held that right around. Tried to get that move done. He couldn't. Can he switch it back to the inside? No, because Hughes already has the inside run. Gomersall is also there, also trying to grab that position. I think he's just able to keep him behind there, Gomersall. He's got a bad run here, Davies. He'll be vulnerable to Gomersall. Gomersall doesn't fire it down the inside like I'd expect him to. Gomersall peaked, not able to get the move done. So we had a peak on him, but the move wasn't there. Davies was he was covering quite nicely actually. That margin 4.7 seconds back to Thomas. Thomas 4.9 seconds to the lead. These 2 wasting a lot of the rubber, the grip from this rubber that they have, using it all up. And you might as well. Gomersall, he gets a good run. Does he get a good enough run though to pull it down the inside here at turn 6. This is turn 6 once again. Does he get a good enough run? So, skid it to the outside. Got that car rear sideways. Just not close enough, so that margin's just opened up a little bit. But these 3 still definitely battling for position. It's Hughes, Davies and Gomersall, your top 3. And it's the battle for the lead of the race for the TFH Hire TA2 muscle cars. 9 minutes to go in this race. Hughes leading over Davies, 0.3, and then another 0.2 back to Gomersall. He's very much going to be looking for this. Is slipstream from Gomersall all the way down the front straight, and the run into turn 1. The fast right-hander of turn 1. Bump just before you hit turn 1. Just sort of off-settles the car a little bit. There, but apart from that, they're still on the track and they're still battling quite heftily. Look at the slide of the background from Gomersall as he uses every bit of rear grip that he has to try and keep that car on the road. This is turn number 3. Turn number 3 for Hughes, Davies and Gomersall. They're line astern. They're not making any moves, and neither of them are making mistakes here. So it's going to be about who makes a mistake. And we have seen it from the support races so far this weekend. There is a chance to make a mistake from the car behind. And it's also that dirty air that really hurts you a lot. Hughes, Davies, 0.2 of a second, and then 0.3 back is Gomersall. So maybe used up a bit of that front grip to try and keep on. Davies, mistake, and there you go. The mistake prone that I was talking about. Gamasol uses that curve to try and get the rotation better than what Davies did. He wasn't able to get the move done. But there you go, Davies. That dirty air from those big TA2 cars, those muscle cars, you tend to get a lot of dirty air. Gartner, who's right on the rear bonnet of Cheney. He'll want to try and get this move done. When we cut on board, he was almost down up the inside completely up the inside nearly. So he got real close, but just a bit far off. So, of course, running a little bit behind schedule here. We're due to finish this race in 6 minutes, so we'll just be on schedule. We were actually meant due to finish this race a minute ago. If I take a look here, it's Gartner still on the back of Cheney. And to confirm, yes, we are meant to finish this race at 5, and then there's just that 5-minute break, and then the IRC invited cars will be on track next, and then the Australian production cars, that 2-hour endurance, which is the calm before the storm. Gartner trying to get a good enough exit to try and get down the inside of one of the Cheney brothers. Does he get it done? This is the final corner. Cheney with a mistake. Gartner, he will get the move done. Does he get the corner exit that he wants? He does. So they do make a bit of contact. They do. They make a little bit of contact, but I don't think it was enough there for Gartner. Payne is just in behind in P13 as well. He tried to get that move done. A big sideways moment from Gartner as he tries to use every bit of road humanly possible. I just don't think it's good enough. He's got a lot of rear slide going on there from Gartner on corner exit. It's hurting his run. So he's trying to get a good run to try and get down the inside. It's just not happening though. The battle for the lead continues between Hughes, Davies, and Gamasol. Last race we did see a safety car. This race so far we aren't going to see a safety car here in this race. So far, so good. Hughes leading, Davies in P2, Gamasol in P3. They're line astern. Line astern indeed. Half a second between those two, and the margin just closing ever so slowly. But I just don't think it's enough. This is the battle between Hume and Thomas in P5 and P6, so a few battles brewing throughout the track at the moment. So a few little battles going on. Cutting back to the race leader, Hughes, Davies, P1, P2. Margin 0.4. It's less than a second separating the top 3 cars. There is 3 minutes to go. 3.5 minutes to go. And as to who has used most of their grip in the tyres is going to be the big question. Who's used most of their tyre in this one, and who has saved the most of their tyre? I don't think it would. I think Hughes would probably have been the one that would have saved as much of that Goodyear tyre as possible, saved as much of the rubber as possible, saved as much of the grip out of the tyre, to try and have a bit of a battle back into this race. Gamasol now right on the rebound to Davies. He's almost saying, "Hi, I'm here." Well, he is saying, "Hi, I'm here. I have rights to possibly overtake you." Down the inside, he looked for the move there, Gamasol. That won't be done. Here with 2.5 minutes to go, that move definitely won't be done. Gamasol still all over the back. The margin 0.6, Hughes to Davies. So Hughes with just about 4 laps to go, trying to pull away. Here with then that opportunity of also getting a move done, of also trying to pull away and not use too much of that tyre. Here with less than 4 laps to go. You can just see in the background, well, I can see in the background, just that battle between the lead, Hughes, Davies, and Gamasol. But Hughes, I think he might have this one down pat. I think he might have just held on with the pressure of Davies in behind. I think he might have just been able to do it. Meanwhile, Davies is being pressured by Gamasol, who is really taking up this pressure. Last lap board being shown. Hughes has about 2 Ks, less than that, 1.8 kilometers of circuit to try and stitch together a win. The last lap board was shown. That time around, Davies, 0.8 of a second. Hughes, 0.8 of a second back to Davies. Gomasolo gets real sideways. Real sideways out of turn 3. And then the run to turn 4. Braking at around the 150 meter board. Getting the car real slow down there for Hughes. This will be the last time around he does this. Last time around indeed. Hughes. Now turn 5 for Hughes. You see those brake ducts really hot. Nearly 2,000 degrees, those brake ducts. Turn 6, the double apex. Turn 7. Then the long right-hander through the back straight of turn 8. This will be it. Hughes. Final corner. I'm going to guess this is the final lap. I could be wrong, but I think this lap around will be the final lap. I could be wrong. Jared Hughes. What a win. And he will take the checkered flag. Jared Hughes wins race 2 for the TFH Hire TA2 muscle cars. Jared Hughes wins by less than a second. 0.7 of a second. That margin. The event staff doing an absolute epic job this weekend to try and get us back on schedule. We are back on schedule, but we're running about 30 seconds behind. Actually, we're running about 15 seconds ahead of schedule. But by the end of this race, I think we might be running about 3, 4, 5 minutes late. 5 minutes behind schedule. So that's not too bad after being nearly 20 minutes behind schedule. But we have had to cut off a few support races as the rest of the cars cross the line. There's a few side-by-side battles. But apart from that, the TFH TA2 Muscle Car Series presented by Martino, Jared Hughes, Tom Davies, Ben Comersall, Josh Thomas, Hayden Hume, Diesel Thomas, Martin Hodson, Elise Buckley, Josh Webster, Tyler Cheney in P10, 17.7 seconds back. But guess who's winning? It's Jared Hughes, Graham Cheney, Brad Gartner, Brock Payne, Colby Cohen, Mark Crutcher, Connor Roberts, Danny Reedy, Des Collier, Robbie Farr, Stephen Williams in P20, nearly 48 seconds back from the race lead. James Simpson, Lachlan Everett, and Hayden Jackson back in P23. So that is Hayden Hughes, the 118 Chevrolet. JaredHughes.com on the back of that rear wing. But the race highlights, let's take a listen.
Look up series by Maritimo's look at the highlights. Opportunistic move from that Chevy, the white Chevy. At the start of the race, Tom Davies had placed himself nicely. This was in car with Josh Thomas. He had a little poke up there at turn 2 as the field settled into this 25-minute race. A hapless day for the Dodge Challenger, which was back in the pit lane, but at least he got some points today.
Yeah, some league issues and managed to get that sorted. Des Collier with another excursion in the 63 as well, who took on a lot of dirt. We saw the panel work flapping in the back of that at the last bit of the race. Lachlan Everett had a massive moment here into turn 3, and that saw him take a venture through pit lane as well. But it looks like went a lap down on that one. For a moment, Tom Davies, he thought he could have got it done on Jared Hughes. He really took the fight to him, didn't he? But he just couldn't hold on. And Jared Hughes doing a fantastic effort to hold Tom Davies off until I think maybe just the tyres went away. Tom Davies really couldn't attack him with the same ferocity that we saw him through these early parts of the race.
Great shot to the drone cameras at eye level, chasing the top 3 through the 2 left-handers. But what a show it's been once again. The Hughes show rolls on to another victory. The Road Active Suspension Chevrolet will pick up another victory. Qualifying again tomorrow morning. And I think you'd be a silly man to bet against him at the moment, the form he's in. Great job to Tom Davies to finish in between arguably the 2 big names that took.
It was a tough one. You came into that race already a tyre down in the bank, but how did that upset the car, or did it upset the car at all?
Yeah, obviously we lost the right front there, so it hurt us a bit through 4 and 5, the left-handers. Yeah, just lost the start to Tommy there. He got a good jump, and then we pretty much top 3 all pretty even on pace, so kind of just stayed there for the rest of the race, but no, it was good fun with the boys.
We reset and we do it all again. Best of luck.
Thank you.
P2, Tom Davies, looked like you were fighting for the lead, then you were fighting for third.
Yeah, it was a bit of a challenging race. Almost had a crack at P1, just made a couple of mistakes, then dropped back a little bit, which is a bit unfortunate, but happy to finish in second, so yeah, stoked.
And how are the conditions out there at the moment, Twilight?
It's not too bad, so the track's a bit cooler, so it's a little bit quicker, but tyres obviously starting to go up towards the end of the race, so you sort of got to manage them, but yeah, we sort of held in there, so it was good.
Great job, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Jared Hughes going 2 from 2. Tell me, the fading light conditions, did they really play a part at all?
Yeah, there was a bit of sun at turn 2, but other than that, there wasn't too much. Maybe the engines were purring a little bit more. But yeah, for us, it was a bit of a harder one that time. We actually had to have a bit of a crack because these boys behind were hammering. So there's a lot we have to go try and have a look at tonight, try to make the Camaro a little bit better. But so yeah, it's a tougher race, that one.
Another chance to potentially take home a pole winners award. That's the plan for tomorrow.
Of course, always the plan, but we've got some tight competition now. It's going to be awesome. So tomorrow we'll have to bring our A game and send it.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
TAT Muscle Cars, they never disappoint. Right down to the wire, 3 out of top 3 as they brought muscle here to Queensland Raceway for race 2. Of course, they do it all again tomorrow with another qualifying session as well as 2 races with plenty of action to hit the Queensland Raceway for round 3 of the Hi-Tech Oils Super Series. Join us from 1 p.m. tomorrow for all the action. Well, as the sun starts to set in the background here at Queensland Raceway, we're about to get underway with the Innovation Race cars. We go into some nighttime racing now. Our Australian production car, 2-hour endurance, not too far away. In the meantime, let's get these fantastic, unique machines as J-Mac joins me back in the commentary box. And we are underway. Have a look at Taunton down the inside. Our race one winner, Gillison. Sparks coming out from under the car as it bottoms out. Danny started. Goodacre looks like to maybe a little bit. Oh no! One of the marked cars into Goodacre, and that's some heavy contact. As Lee Stibbs manages to get around after retiring from the last race with part of the exhaust loose off the engine. Stibbs, you know, he's going to have to get an excavation sponsor, I think, to try and get that. The Pitman trucks, well, they'll be towing him out if he can't get out of there. It looks like he will in the number 6 car. No surprise, yellow lights are out and the safety car will be on track instantly for this one. And it looks like John Goodacre getting out of the car under his own power. That is a good sign to start with. Unfortunately, the 34 car of John Crossing, and I don't know how to dissect that one, J-Mac.
Yeah, it was tough. Goodacre was already spun around, and Crossing, unfortunately, just was going through a sea of parted cars, had absolutely nowhere to go. I could see that Crossing's moving around inside that number 34 Zenko backed entry. Let's check this replay of this race start. And Taunton got off to a belter. Gillison, check this out. He had some serious pace on the restart. It looked like they were going to go 3 wide into turn 1.
Yeah, let's watch Danny Studdard. Is there, so Goodacre might have just touched Studdard there. Potentially, just a fraction, like, you're not talking heavy contact or anything like that. It's literally maybe some guards that have touched made contact. We'll try and dissect it a bit more. You can see the bottoming out of Gillison. And, yeah, there's just cold tyres, maybe unloaded. Crossing coming into a string of cars. Like, he's behind 2 or 3 cars. He wouldn't have seen much. But the onboards here from Lee Stibbs might show us a little bit more, because he probably couldn't see much that was going on either. So look ahead, Gillison got through this one. So somewhere here, you can't see what's happening at this point, can't see. And then all of a sudden just dust. Like, yeah, Stibbs obviously could tell something was happening. You heard him really roll off the throttle there, didn't he? Just wanted to let the car just go. The last thing he wants to do is get the right car hurt from High Tech Oils. Danny Studdard now beached in the runoff as well in that brand new car. Safety car out on track, Innovation Race cars. Great to see our safety team straight onto the scene here. And unfortunate moments there as, there's something.
That is not something that I have seen before.
John Hollinger looks like he has got a bent arm in that car, and no, this is not a slow motion of some drifting as he goes into the corner. Looks like a bit of initiation if it was in slow motion, doesn't it? But that car is crab walking all the way off, and he is trying to limp that car into pit lane. Whether they can replace, is the arm broken completely as the tyre moves around potentially?
That looks like damage in the rear. You can see how out of shape that is. That's really tough.
He's going to struggle, but he's going to try and take the shortcut there. Yep, that arm is holding back too as he gets the car straight. Very unfortunate.
Tough times, and of course a red flag as the cleanup will take some time. So victims of this one, not to say the least, we just saw John Hollinger make his way out into the pits. Danny Studdard stranded out there in the gravel trap. John Goodacre, the number 66 machine, and Crossing as well in the Zenko Mark car. That is very tough. In fact, right there at the front of Crossing's machine, that's not his front end. That is the front end from John Goodacre's car. You can see just how modular they are. And while we have such great aerial shots, I have to really say the gravel traps here at Queensland Raceway, man oh man, do they do a fantastic job.
Oh yeah, they're really designed to pull those cars up quickly, haven't they? And it's really played well here. You're right about the modular side, and that's the thing about fixing these cars too, is if they'll be able to buy a new front clip and put those on as well. They're made here in Yatala, in Australia, so the car's designed, built here, and it's great to see the drivers. They know it's an unfortunate moment out there on the racetrack, but having a conversation about it as the red light on this track.
Unfortunate turn of events, but we will be back up and racing after a clean-up. It's all happening here at High Tech Oil Super Series Round 3, 2 Days of Thunder at Queensland Raceway.
It's time to wake up to sleep and get your unique bed match profile exclusively at 40 Winks. Our sleep specialists will then help find the right bed for you. 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
Time to get the 2 hours of racing underway for the Australian production cars here tonight under lights at Queensland Raceway, part of round 3 of the Hi-Tech Oil Super Series. And as we notice them here in the bright lights, we'll try and dissect as these cars get around. Couple of cars there. J-Mac joins us in the commentary box. Nolts is going to be with us in just a second. Vicini's out there. It looks like they've gone for the option there to get Carly in the car to start things off. Now, they were chasing a gearbox problem that keeps coming out there. They're trying to reset it with the computer. They've had a couple of hours to try and rectify that, and hopefully they will get that underway. It's already up in the 12th position. What a fantastic start.
To see the Vicini crew having a whip out the code reader and clear those transmission codes. Fingers crossed they don't have to duck into pit lane any more than necessary here. Now, lay it out straight for me. What's the plan with pit stops?
Well, the window opens up after about half an hour there, so they can get into there. So they'll have a pit stop window there once we get half an hour into this 2-hour race. And it's got to be done before the final half an hour, which we're going to kick you out of here during that hour-long period to make sure you go down. Now, I don't want anything less than how many litres go in. You don't need to go into millilitres, just litres for us. Where the drivers are at, how they're feeling. Hopefully you find out from some of our drivers that are out there at the moment what the cars are feeling like. There's 2 hours, there's going to be a lot of changing conditions. And when we went out in this short break, the sun was up, and in that very short 20 minutes, the sun is gone.
And the chill factor has gone through the roof, or rather through the floor. It's very cold out there. It's going to take a few laps for these tyres to come up and get into that Goldilocks zone where they're not too cold, not too hot, but you can guarantee that there's going to be action aplenty. Tony Quinn out there on track, currently running third outright in the A2.
Yeah, it didn't look like he got as much wheel spin on the start of this one like he did in the first race. So he's elected to be the first driver. Matt McCutcheon will come out. They put him on pole, actually, for the first race. So he's very quick. So the question will be is how long does Tony want to stay in that car? Is he enjoying doing laps out there? Does he want to get the young gun in there and see if he can try and make up a little bit of time? And that could play out depending on the strategy on what happens with White, who's leading us, and Kearns, who's in second. Now, Kearns took a few laps to get those tyres under temperature in the half an hour race, probably 15 minutes before we really saw the pace come on from that car. And we'll wait and see what happens this time.
Mark Griffith currently running in fourth place in the Mercedes. Now Griffith sharing that car with Tom Heyman. I'll tell you what, hasn't Tom done some laps around this place in a variety of different cars? We saw him in GT4 here not too long ago. We've seen him pedal a TA2 car, and now adding the production car to the list.
He was pretty handy behind the wheel of the TA2 car as well. Quick time Tommy, we saw him in the Bend last year in our 2-driver event. He went out there on his own, and it was very hard to stop. So I reckon as he comes to terms with the production car, we will see him get quicker and quicker and quicker. So especially if he's going to be coming on a little bit later.
Battle of the hatchbacks here. Looks like the Mazda 3 MPS and 2 Mercedes going at it. That'll be Camilleri, Griffith and Gunther for 4th, 5th and 6th respectively. One thing you don't quite realise until the sun dips below the horizon and the lighting towers come on, is just how much dust gets thrown up over the course of a lap here at Queensland Raceway.
I've had a couple of cars on before them, haven't they, thrown around the TA2 cars. Look at the glow of the brake rotors now as they get into turn number 4. They're starting to push on those. Camilleri, Griffith and Gunther in to watch out. Vicini is moving through the field, already up to 7th position in that Class B1 car, and currently leading that class as well. White, Kearns and Quinn all in A2 class cars at the front of the field. Camilleri in C class leading us out in the Mazda MPS, and it's Griffith and Gunther, the A1 fight that's happening in the Australian production cars. Now look at Vicini now with a run down the straight here as Matt Nolte gets in the commentary box, because we know you've got a little bit of time to explain exactly what's going on. You're the man with all the information when it comes to how this unfolds. Now, what I was reading about is not only can they fill this up with their normal fill rig, they can also do it with jerk cans, or they can use the old jig.
Absolutely. 3 choices, in fact. Obviously, by a mandatory compulsory pit stop for today's race, so we're good to go for the next 1 hour and 55 minutes. 3-minute compulsory stop. That's come down from last year where it was 5 minutes. So regardless of whether you get fuel or tyres done, should you want to do tyres perhaps, you've got to sit there for 3 minutes. So that means if you're running a class, you need to get a margin out on your nearest competitor and hope we don't get a safety car, period. What's concerning me so far already is how many red brake discs we have out there. We're really only on the 4th lap of this race.
Yeah, a lot of braking systems being pushed to their maximums at a time in the race where, geez, there it is, Mark Griffith in that AMG just glowing hot. It makes for great viewing, Matt Kavanagh.
Yeah, it really does. Nighttime racing, really a big fan of it. I know Nolts is yourself. We really love the cars under lights. Oh, look at the sparks. There's something going on over there. Is that a tyre down? We're on. Tyre is gone. And it might get stuck here unless we can keep the momentum going.
If it's going to be a tyre let go, it's the best spot for it to happen. It's on pit entry for Griffo, and he brings the Daimler Trucks Brisbane. Mercedes-Benz in, but not good time. He's outside the window, so he still has to do a compulsory stop inside there. Let's have a look at the High-Tech Oils replay. It just started tearing itself to pieces midway down that straight. So we're going to run over some debris.
Well, think back to TA2 where we saw that tyre go down with a rock stuck in from Ben Domicile, so potentially similar sort of issue. Mind you, we did see this in the IRC cars in last round of racing with the directional tyre not on the right way, and that lets go at high speed as well.
Yeah, that's not a good start though for Griffo. He's teamed up, as you guys said, with Tommy Heyman, but they won't be able to swap out here. They'll have to change the tyre, but they'll still have to come in at the 20-minute mark of this race today. As in he comes, a little small brake fire there for Mercedes-Benz. Like I said, if that was going to happen, better be at turn 6 than turn 1. It'd be a very long lap for the Griffith Heyman Mercedes-Benz. It was actually fighting strong there in the early stages.
Yeah, good to see they got the gloves on for this one. That's a bit of rubber there, but the brake duct in the background now, that could be getting damaged as well. Where you can see that's on fire now. So whether they're just going to shoot that fire on, I think they're not going to worry about it. Just get it on and get it out there, and hopefully, but it's burning away in the background, and what's above that, whether it's wiring loom and things like that. We see those computer issues starting to come in when you see wiring get a little bit warm and things like that.
That's what I thought. I would have chucked a bit of fire extinguisher foam on it just to put it out, because you're right, that starts getting going there. It's going to get into looms, and you want as much fresh air to get into those brake ducts, even in conditions like this where, as you mentioned, J-Mac, it's gone through the floor. Temperature-wise out there now, it'll continue to get colder. It'll be well and truly in the single digits. I tell you, they don't mind getting down to business very quickly in production cars. You know, look at that clock, 1 hour and 52 minutes. But it's about track position and class position here with that mandatory 3-minute pit stop time. As Griffo rejoins the track, he's gone a lap down in the A1 class.
Yeah, the question will be that fire. Will it go out when it gets going, or are we going to have to see the stewards intervene with that one?
Well,
that's, you know, we'll keep an eye on that, because we're going to have to really watch what's going on there.
I'm surprised they did let it go. Meantime, down at turn 3, 87 mate almost gets the tooth one. In fact, I think he will, and does. So position change there for Robert O'Connor, one of our Class D cars. And just ahead, the legendary Captain Rob Jarvis. These guys, in fact, leading the production car series. Rob used to run the V8 Utes back in the day and running with young son Alan. And they won the round at Sydney under lights. And looking to cement that lead. That's them in the car 70s. They make their way through the left-hand turn. So early stages, White leads by just 0.4 of a second from Kearns, who won the earlier race today. Tony Quinn sets his fastest lap of the race, but very early stages. Behind is Carlo Vicini, who started the 999 BMW, who 2 stops during that sprint race earlier today. Back to Jake Camilleri, who's doing solo duties for the next 2 hours. That's not surprising for Camilleri aboard the Caboolture Mazda 3. Leads that C class. Gunter runs behind him in 6th. The leader in A1 class. Back to Holt, O'Connor, Jarvis, and Murphy. And checking the row at Sony. As we go to pit lane, here's Mel Price.
So, Martin here from Griffo's team. Not a great start. That was properly on fire, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just where he blew a tyre, and it was the excess rubber that was up under the suspension. So, yeah, it'll sort itself out on the track and blow itself out.
So, no wires or anything else up there that you look too worried about getting damaged by the fire?
No, I had a good look, and everything was clear and that, so it was just, yeah, little bits of rubber that was sitting up on top of the strut there, and, yeah, she'll be all right.
Well, he'll win the fireworks competition, won't he?
He's got to win something. He's good.
Thank you.
I like that. She'll be right.
Yeah, one way to keep it on.
The AMG A45 looking a little bit worse for wear on that front right corner as we come back to shots. Tony Quinn getting through on number 25 of Kearns.
We believe the 119 of Sheepfield has got no drive. Maybe a tail shaft has gone, and that's why that car is in pit lane on the B2 class cars. Right on command. Here he is sharing the car with Chris Holt here tonight. The beauty of this is you can get it back into the garage, and well done to Tony Quinn and the amazing team here at Queensland Raceway to have these beautiful garages set up in the last couple of years. You can get to work on this at least.
The Cupra Fermenter. What do you feel? It's called obsession. Cupra, inspiring from Barcelona.
Our fortress was taken. It's time to strike back. For the first time in a decade, the Aussies will play Test cricket in the West Indies. 3 massive tests, followed by 5 T20 internationals. Australia's tour of the West Indies. Every ball live on Disney Plus.
Through the darkness and back into the light. Matt McCutcheon will jump into this car later on tonight. In fact, we're not too far away from that window. In fact, just under 8 minutes before they make their way in. We'll have to come in as soon as the window opens, but when you do that, will be key. You don't want to get snookered by the safety car. Tammy's in pit lane.
Yes, I'm down here in pit lane, and you were right. I can confirm that car 119 has come in with a busted tail shaft. The mechanics are on the ground at the moment seeing what they can do.
Sorry, Tammy, we had a big moment here for Tony Quinn, and I think that's a significant engine let go from the Chevy Camaro. We'll come back to Tammy in a moment. Thanks for that. But we've had a lose down here for the second place car, the Chevy Camaro. That was not tyre smoke.
And the oil, already the brakes are hot, the exhaust is hot, the oil that would come out of that, that's definitely white smoke, you assume. Have a look at the high-tech oils replay the game over. Camaro, Tony Quinn behind the wheel, heading down to turn number 3, moving as well. We're getting up to 200 kilometres an hour. Oh, yes. Oh, that is a lot of, and look at the car moving around.
At top speed as well.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking well over 200 Ks there for Tony Quinn, and then spun on his own oil at the end from second position and in the gravel. It's game over for the Chevy Camaro. The safety car is called here with 12 minutes in the books.
So the impact of something like this, unfortunate end for Tony Quinn there, but the field massively bunched up, and we basically get it all started again.
Now, has he dropped oil from that straight all the way down? And he has. That's going to be a lengthy clean-up.
Yeah, it could be a few laps behind safety car, and we're not in that window yet to take advantage of it. So that's the other thing. We're not going to see the drivers come in, do those early driver changes or take advantage of that strategy or anything like that. Good news is we're not seeing any orange under that car. So let's head down to pit lane for some more information from Mel.
So we're very disappointed and rightly so looking, Matt McCutcheon. Not a good end to the race so early on as well.
Yeah, no, a bit of a bummer. Obviously, went up in a cloud of smoke there. So, yeah, not too happy. We'll just have to get the car back and have a look at it. It's a bit of a bummer, but at least it looks cool under lights here at Queensland Raceway.
And I saw the team on the radio. Any news from Tony about exactly what happened?
Not yet. He hasn't said a lot. Obviously, he's probably not too happy. Probably trying to work out what happened there too. We just saw the big cloud of smoke. So once the car comes back in, we'll have a proper look and see what's happened.
Well, hopefully we get to see you back on track, and at least you'll be warm for the rest of the night in your racing soon.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you can hear the disappointment in his voice. And there's the body language, shoulders slumped as he walks away, shake of the head for poor Matty McCutcheon, who's driving for Eggleston Motorsport in the Super 2 Series this year and not going to get a lap here tonight, it appears, in the Australian Production Car Series. A 300k, 2-hour race under lights. Now, first safety car period of the evening, gents.
Yeah, Tony was doing really well too. You saw the times he was running. They were starting. Whitey actually pulled the fastest lap of the race so far, just over Tony Quinn. So trying to respond, I think, to that gap closing down a little bit from the Camaro. So just starting to apply a bit of pressure, and unfortunately, the game over sign lives up to its name. It wasn't a great back there 6-hour either. So they're still sorting that car out.
I mean, remember they had the Mustang a couple of years ago, and that had a fairly lengthy hit up at, I think the chase that happened there a couple of years back with Grant Denyer behind the wheel and the move to the Camaro. It's like, J-Mac will get this as well as you. Green race cars, remember we used to always say, oh, don't do that. Number 13, don't do that. It's game over, not maybe. We'll do it reverse livery, maybe. Yeah. You got to feel for him. I mean, he puts so much effort into going motor racing. He's put this place into really the top 5 tracks in the country now. It's a pleasure to come here now to Queensland Raceway with the upgrades he's done. But very disappointed that it hasn't happened at his local track in front of a crowd here tonight. And I say, there is a reasonable crowd watching here tonight, incidentally.
And what he puts into the 2 days of Thunder as well. I mean, we've got the music going, we have the DJ going early, we've got the drift cars out the back, there's kids stuff everywhere. It's really something you can bring the family down to and enjoy a day down here. Because we've got one more day as well of the Super Series. So if you're in the area in Queensland, why not come out tomorrow? Because he's really turned it on at Queensland Raceway, and all the staff here doing a fantastic job to create that atmosphere that, you know, you want to take the family to it, and you just want to enjoy it with your mates as well. So, yeah, hats off to Tony. Unfortunately, the game over Camaro looks like that will not be rejoining us for the race. But, yeah, you can say nothing. Look, now he's going to...
He's helping with his own recovery.
And it never rests. Also, a good place for you. Your anniversary, and well done. First year since you've been in the broadcast.
Yes, returning to the scene of the crime. It's fantastic. I'm glad that I got the invite back. Queensland Raceway has a very special place in my heart. Of course, originally from Queensland myself, so
that's right.
This is, a little bit of home.
Homecoming. Oh boy, safety cars out. That'll bunch up this field at a really awkward time before the pit stop window opens, with the classes trying to extend their gaps as much as they can before pitting. And I dare say now they'll go deep into it when we go back, because this could be a lengthy clean-up process as TQ helps with the recovery crew. We'll go to pit lane. Here's Mel.
Here with the Paddle Pop line, aka Jesse Dixon, currently leading Class D. You did give me a sneak preview of the plan earlier on. Do you want to share it with everyone?
Yeah, Rob's doing a fantastic job out there, starting off the race. We qualified 7th yesterday, which is awesome. And we're going to try and take advantage of an early safety car when the pit window opens. So if the pit window opens and there's a safety car, we're straight in for a driver change to make it as efficient as possible and get back out there.
Well, so far so good. You look like you're pretty keen to get in there and get on with it.
It's been a big day. I haven't touched the car since 9 o'clock when I arrived. So 6:30 is a late start to the shift. But it's going to be a fun way to wrap up the night.
Yeah, well, it's looking good. So we hope you have a good run. Enjoy.
Awesome. Thanks, Mel. Cheers.
Jesse Dixon runs his own racing academy business these days and was climbing the ladder many years ago through V8 Utes and into Super 2. But it's a handy co-driver, handy driver regardless to have in Aussie Motorsport. Good to see him back at the racetrack. And that's a pretty ominous sign.
That answers our question, doesn't it? When the gear leader comes out and they're going to spread that down there and try and clean that up, that could be a lengthy safety car we're going to have here for the brushing car race. That'll chew up a bit of time, which means they're going to save a bit of fuel in the tank as well. It's going to look after the tyres a little bit better too. So it could play out over the time. So how are the fuel rigs down there? Are they going to know what they're going to put in? It's going to be timed. It could be a bit of a risk where they know with an empty tank. Let's head down the pit lane though with Tammy.
Rick Shinfield, you're out of the car and it's all hands on deck for the broken tail shaft. What's the plan?
Well, we'll try and put the spare one in that we've still got left over from Bathurst, which is not crash hot, but we'll give it a bash and put that in and see how we go. The boys are working pretty hard at the moment, so I'm not sure whether we'll make it out or not, but we'll do our best. And if we don't make it out tonight, we'll be back tomorrow for another bash out of it.
And have a sure hard red hot crack.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing for everybody. Co-driver Ettore, he didn't get a drive today, so hopefully the boys can sort of turn it around for us and get it back, and we can have another go. So fingers crossed.
Good luck. Thanks, Rick.
Good presence of mind from the team to give the car wipe down while it's in their its 100,000k service at the same time.
They got nothing but time.
Exactly.
Quickly, write a date on that oil filter.
And I'm loving the Aussie slang in the pits tonight. She'll be right, then we'll
give it a bash.
Yeah, write these ones down. I think we'll give our best three later
It
tonight.
is the Australian production car.
Was it now the Aussie production car?
Aussie, yeah. We
slang it up a bit.
Yeah. The down under production cars, mate.
You're an ideas man. You're an ideas man. As the Game Over Chevy Camaro is being towed back into the pits, Mel.
Smiles all round. Paul Bacchini. Carly's out there. I see you hanging over the fence, cheering her on as she went past P3 at the moment and leading class.
Yeah, it's awesome. We've had a terrible weekend, so see you going down there really well. Sorry, it's really good.
Well, we saw you in and out of the pits in the last race, and it looks like you've hopefully solved all of those problems and having a good one.
Well, fingers crossed. We've done a few things to try and get it to work, so fingers crossed it's working. Carly's done an amazing job to get where she is, so if the car just keeps cooled and the gearbox will be fine and we can get to the end.
Any secret insights into when you're planning your pit stop?
Probably give Carly an hour. I'll do an hour. That way we share it fairly. But just depends, you know. She might say I want to stay in the car, and she's welcome to stay in the car. It's her car, so she could tell me what to do.
What a very understanding co-driver. Hope you have a fantastic race.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Look at White. He's trying to race him now behind the safety car, just trying to open up a gap. And we're just going to confirm some details here because we're getting closer and closer to this pit window when it comes to the production cars as well. And we're waiting to see when they're allowed to come in out of the safety car. Lingy will be happy to get some more laps in too. He's not put the car under stress.
Definitely not. Those with keen ears out there would have heard the horn go off, and it's not half time. I believe that will sign the pit lane is now open. They can do this under yellow should they wish. It's shown on our screens. The CPS window is now open. We are at the 20-minute mark under yellow, so I'll chase that for 100% confirmation. But if the horn's gone off, that'll be indications to teams that pit lane is open here at Queensland Raceway. Confirmed is open, so that's good to see. With 1 hour and 39 minutes remaining, it's White from Kearns, Carl Bacini behind the wheel of car 999. Jake Camilleri is next with Gunther. Hold back in 6th spot, back to O'Connor. Jarvis, it's Rob Jarvis behind the wheel of car 70. Back to David Murphy and Troy Williams, who's opening the innings for the 14 car. Who'll hand over to David Ling during the night.
Well, the question is, what is the fuel going to do in terms of longevity? So if they come in now and the race gets back underway very shortly, will they still have to come and do another stint in the pit lane? If it's more fuel in? I think so, yeah. So there might not be an advantage to the early safety car at this point because they haven't used a lot of tyre either.
No, and you want to go as far as you can into it so you don't have to do a second stop in there. If this goes, or this could be a lengthy safety car period, that clean up on the, watch them shut me up now, probably might be 2 minutes. But it looks like it's going to be a fairly long one out there at the moment. You'd run deep. If you're down the pack though and a bit behind the pace, then why not?
Look, I'll let them show you up on that one.
Please.
Yeah, please. Let's get this race back underway.
Tell I've never worked in strategy before.
I'm sure there's a job out there for you in the field, just to how successful you may be.
That's how I see commentary.
Kicked off the team.
Kicked off the team, yeah.
How rough has it been this weekend for Rolfo and the crew, really being basically put under by a mystery bug? Did we work out what happened with that?
Yeah, most of the team have gone down. In fact, Oscar Butt's dad is going to be the refueler on that car tonight. Both he and Annabelle Rolfo are going to share the car there, but they're all concerned. Like, their crew went down so quickly yesterday. We hope that something pops up during the race here to roll in with a volunteer crew. To Carlos Rolfo, of course, ran super touring cars back in the day in the late 90s. I love these father-daughter combinations that are in this here tonight. It's good. So we've seen father-son combos for many years, but a lot of father-daughters getting together now and going car racing. That's good to see. So they're going in already with minimal to no crew to do their pit stops during this race.
Really just a case of cross your fingers and hope that what you throw at the wall sticks.
But you never think about that, do you? It's hard enough getting a crew to go racing.
Yeah.
And they give up their time. I don't think there's too many in this pit lane that are getting paid a full-time wage to come and do this. But you don't allow for sickness or an emergency to go home. So Oscar's dad left Coffs Harbour at 3 a.m. to get up here, to be here for this weekend. So that is dedication to be part of here. Mel?
Rohit Saini, one of the drivers that obviously isn't planning to do an early pit stop as soon as we start, because you're standing there with your suit up looking pretty relaxed right now.
We had a mishap in the race one and the endurance race. The second race is all about bringing the car home, and we've got a strategy going on, and hopefully the strategy works. And what we plan for these early safety cars is part of our plan.
Well, good luck. We're about to go, so good luck.
Always, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Well, we'll be interested down this back straight because there's still a little bit of dust coming off, but it looks like the safety car is about to exit stage left and the race is back underway. We've got 1 hour and 35 minutes to go.
So there's my first cleaner of the race. Lengthy means 1 lap. Write that down. Back to racing we go. In the Australian Production Car Series, the 300-kilometre endurance race tonight at QR, the first of 2 stops in the 2025 series. And the pit window is open. So far, pit lane is quiet. So you get back into the groove. Now they'll be trying to stay away from that clean-up material on the back straight. It will be dusty there for a few laps. And straight away, White and Kearns picked up where they left off. Track position will be key. Remember, these 2 cars are both in the A2 class.
Yeah, a couple of Mustangs going at it as well. So we saw Kern, I was saying it earlier in the first race, took a few laps, seems like the tyre bridges they ran. Whether they're doing that again, we'll have to wait and find out. But they're the most recent in the car as well. They're the ones that have been holding on for the first driver's stint. Didn't see the co-drivers come to this, which we have seen with some of the others. It's a long day, like they say, especially if you're a co-driver. You've sat around all day and you've had to wait till 5:30, 6 o'clock to get in the car.
Had a quick moment there, looking on the back of the number 51 of Holt. Looked like it was dragging a bit of bodywork.
Now, was that the car that had the bodywork earlier yesterday?
No, Gerardo Flynn. Was Holt the one that we had? No, I don't think it was. But it's very similar to what the issue we had before, because the spool was hanging off the back of that car. Don't know what cable ties they had on that, but grab those. Wasn't letting go.
That's impressive and lucky that he wasn't pulled in by the stewards in race 1. Because it did look like he was only holding on to the alive there. At the moment, 0.85 per second between 1 and 2 on the road. Trent White and Lindsay Kearns lead us out here. This 2-hour enduro.
I really like when they come out of the darkness, don't they? They sort of, the lights are there as they come in towards the corners. You really get to see the cars emerge. It's almost like looking at a bit of an advert for them. The Mustang's obviously pretty predominant at the moment, leading the race. Pacini up into 3rd position, though. What a drive she's having from the rear of field.
Up to 3rd already.
Yeah.
Hopefully, let's keep everything crossed so they don't find any more dramas with that 999 BMW during the race. There's just enough light here. I think the future plan is to get a light Queensland Raceway, but there's enough light out there that still gives you that endurance feel. Out the main straight's pretty well lit up. This section here is quite bright, but there are some dark patches around there too, which is another twist in the mix of this race.
Of course, coming out into those bright patches will play havoc with the eyesight here. We actually saw Tony Quinn rocking the yellow lenses, designed to improve your depth perception and the contrast that the retina actually sees in dim light conditions.
I don't know about you guys, but I tend to wear them at night driving these days. It could be an unrelated age issue, but certainly does open up the surroundings around you. But it's going back to normal light afterwards. We'll come back to that because it's a nice little Class D battle going on between the 86s as they come through to complete a lap. Basic production cars that will just go on and on. You can have the Bathurst 72-hour and they'll still be going strong at the end. Just so durable and effective and have been for a long time. So as we talk about those interclass battles, we've got 2 more further up the field in 7th and 8th outright with O'Connor and Rob Jarvis, but these 2 running back in 12th and 13th position. Battle of the ladies. Emma Casaviello and Annabelle Rolfo.
You'll love the late model cars, don't you? When the ABS kicks in, the light starts flashing, the hazards come on, you really know they're starting to push it. This one's to go a little bit wide there. Casaviello might get the move done as they head down to 4. You can see the front 2 sets of headlights are just apart. I'm not quite sure who's going to be leading that one. I think we're going to see Rolfo at the start again. You can tell by the hazard lights coming on. That's one thing they haven't disconnected on that.
The ABS get to work out of this one. So down they come to complete another lap. Just like that, boys. We're coming up to 30 minutes into the race, albeit several minutes under Hyundai safety car period. Move around the outside here from Casaviello. Who's to switch back a classic turn 6 at Queensland Raceway. The 86ers continue on with this battle for 12th and 13th outright, 3rd and 4th in Class D. The Australian Production Car Series 2-hour endurance race as part of the High-Tech Oil Super Series. Time to move a bit further up the field and down towards turn number 3 with O'Connor and Rob Jarvis. Look at the brake disc getting a workout. And goes back to my point about having sections of the track still in darkness. It really shows you how hard the brakes get a workout. We don't see that during the daytime.
A little telltale flash of a photographer's flash unit there. There's going to be some brilliant photos that come out of this.
Especially at the end, with a little surprise coming up at the end of tonight's racing too, which won't give too far away. Well, the story of the race so far has to be the retirement of the game over Chevy Camaro, and Mel is down the pitch with Tony Quinn.
Yeah, very disappointing end to the race. Tony Quinn, tell us about it.
Oh, the car was going good. I was feeling all right. and just I think that's put a leg through the side or something. Just oil light, pressure, no brakes, or the brakes I did have only worked a little bit, spun round into the thing. So anyway, at least nobody else was involved, so we'll just live and come and fight another day.
Yeah, good to hear. Shame for yourself and obviously your co-driver who was very disappointed as well and did a fantastic job in qualifying, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He's a good driver, and we'll just get another crate engine and chuck it in and plug it up, and away we go.
Good plan. Now, it would be remiss of me not to ask about the night vision goggles.
No, I got my eyes done about a month, 6 weeks ago, and just the glare of the lights is quite strong, but it seems to help. Everybody looks different. You look much younger.
Keep them on, thank you.
So what Tony Quinn's telling us is if we want to feel good about ourselves, we'll go out and get a transparent yellow film to put on the mirror.
Exactly.
Every time, just so we feel good about ourselves every time we get up and do our teeth.
The way he was walking off there, maybe he's heading off to do a set. He gets set upstairs, those glasses on.
Well, he might be.
I haven't heard much out there for a while, but the DJ's having a break. They've been rocking all day here. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been fantastic atmosphere here at Queensland Raceway. He wasn't wrong though. Car was on pace, wasn't it? Going strong. Tony was in the zone. He was just reeling in slowly. He was doing his job. And very unfortunate end for the game over tomorrow.
Jarvis and O'Connor, one of the tightest battles out there, only 0.7 of a second between them. You have to look back to Rolfo and Cassiobello, only half a second between them. They're battling it out for positions 12 and 13.
And a lot of cars in between them, considering they are in Class D. There's a couple of A1 and A2 cars. The Derwent Class C car back in 11th position before we get back to the next. In fact, Cassiobello's just got past Rolfo on our screen, so she's gone up into 12th and 3rd outright in Class D. We're watching the battle for Class D now, down at turn number 3. Pit stop window is open. It will close with 20 minutes remaining of tonight's race. 32 minutes in, and White continues to lead by 1 second. Kearns just hovering around and making sure he doesn't get too far away. Another 10 seconds back to Carlo Pacini, who will, can't say hand the keys over anymore, hand the starter button over.
Yeah.
To Father Pole later tonight. Hopefully they've cured that drama. It was boost issues last night, a gearbox drama today, and then Control-Alt-Delete during that race, the sprint race this afternoon. And keep in mind, there's another race to come tomorrow as well to wrap up the series. This isn't it tonight. They've still got to go again tomorrow for another 30 minutes.
Yeah, we'll give a chance for Carlo to get back in the car. Obviously, tomorrow driver too, who didn't do the sprint race today, will do the sprint race tomorrow. So we will see the down under production cars back here. Or the Australian production cars, but we're keeping with the Aussie slang here tonight, aren't we?
Are you going to license that?
I don't know. Tony's probably heard it and already taken off with it.
Yeah, that's where he's off to.
Yeah. Did that name.
Scrimmage of thought for the brake package of Troy Williams and the number 14 machine, the Big Falcon. That's a big lump of metal to be trying to pull up into turns 1 and 3. The hardest braking points here on this track. It's doing a great job. I swear I saw telltale sparks just from the brake rotors earlier.
Yeah, big heavy car compared to the Class D cars, isn't it? You asking a lot out of that brake package down there. It's the former ex-Medici Jeremy Gray car that's run at Bathurst on many occasions. This is a good sign. Tammy, we're starting to see a lot of drivers getting suited up and helmets ready for their stints tonight, this 2-hour race.
Yes, we've got Jesse Dixon down here on the pit wall. I just had a quick chat to him and said, what's the plan? He said he's kitted up, ready to go at any chance. If they come in for their compulsory pit stop, he'll be ready to jump in the car.
Smart play. You're going to be caught out. The driver suddenly arriving on pit lane and you're at the back having a slice of pizza. Or has happened, drivers have been off the toilet sometimes and not knowing they're getting called out.
Well, we'll wait and find out how big the fuel tanks are going to be and how long they're going to last now, because you're not going to come in.
Hey, I just got a one-finger salute from my mate next to me. Give me a story I'm missing out on.
No.
It's ancient history, mate.
I'll get this out of you eventually.
Yeah.
As you were.
It's all right. We're not recording any of this. moment, Mel.
Tom Heyman, the good news to begin with is it looks like the car's okay after that pretty exciting start.
Yeah, I think obviously the tyre let go, as you can see probably in the background. Sounded like a pretty hairy moment for Mark, so car's fine right now. He's just trucking along and we'll see if we can pull the lap back.
It's not very often you stand there and see your car on fire and then go out and fight another day, is it?
Yeah, I didn't actually see the car on fire. I was just here to listen to the story basically, so the car seems fine and drove off all good, so we'll see how we go.
So I just want to remind you, when you jump in this time for the pit stop, to get in the right side of the car, unlike practice yesterday.
Yeah, obviously you got to remember that. It's a bit different to the cars I've been driving lately, so make sure I remember that when we do the stop for sure.
So do you know when you're getting in?
Probably around the hour mark, I'd say. We'll just see how Griffo's going out there first.
Okay, good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, not letting too much away, is he? Tommy Heyman. I suspect he'll come on strong at the end of this, especially if he gets his head around the production car. Everything he gets behind the wheel of, he's pretty quick in.
Well, yeah, think about a couple of years back, he jumped into a Trans Am car and won the weekend. Yeah, won all 3 races out there of that event. A tall guy, a really tall guy. You don't see too many of them in motorsport these days. It really is hard to get him out of these compact cars. Well, he's waiting pit lane, first and second. Half a second, it's come right down now. You're watching White, the ultimate diesel tuning Ford Mustang. Brilliant shot of the first of 2 left-hand turns at this Queensland Raceway. And they're some 20 seconds away now from the B1 class lead, Calabacini, who's got 4 seconds back to Camilleri in the C-class car. Then the first of the A1 cars in Gunther, who runs in 5th spot. And Holt rate is 6 for 35 seconds, covering that top 5 now.
And that constant glow of the front brake rotors as well now. It's not going away as they head down the little straights. It is very warm inside there. And potentially it's a little bit of drag maybe on some brand new pads as they head into the Enduro, because normally we see that colour go away. We're seeing it now. It's starting to go down, but it's still a glow in the rim there. Lets us know where they are on track at least, as we see a little bit of off-track excursion in the background potentially, just a bit of dust being kicked up. And that's by Kearns, who's starting to close the gap down. It's down to half a second and closing in. Kearns might be waiting for that opportunity, whether they're going to try and do this before the driver changeover. Still a little bit of dust as they head down into turn number 3 from the clean-up. Just for the game over. Lose looks like a Conrod piston might have exited the chat coming outside of that engine potentially, but that is a massive engine failure for them. Luckily, the old LS crate engine pretty easy to get hold of.
And it's really odd to see that kind of damage happen. These cars are pretty bulletproof now. The crate engines, LS3 engines that they run, it's a bit of a mystery to why that did happen.
Yeah, the only time we really see them get injured is when they overrev on the downshift.
Yeah,
to try and pull the car up. Yeah. So very strange. Sometimes you get it, I suppose. Bad luck stories there. I'm sure they'll sort that out. Tony, like you said, grab another engine, we'll throw it in. Get that car running again. It won't happen for tomorrow, I don't think, unfortunately for Matt McCutcheon. It'll be the weekend over for them, as we can see on board now with Jarvis and Murphy there. Sorry, that's actually O'Connor. Is it Williams behind it? Before you throw Williams, yeah. So that's the outright 7th position that we see at the moment, and O'Connor's could be coming in with Jesse Dixon to do that changeover very, very shortly. They said if there was a safety car opportunity, I don't think the car would have made it home even if they filled the tank all the way to the top.
Well, especially not running around full throttle like they are. Pace is still up there at 1 minute 20.28 for Trent White in the Ultimate Diesel Tuning Ford Mustang. On your screen, coming out of turn 3 now, hotly pursued by Lindsay Kearns.
It's not letting up, is he? And nor might he, because there's a battle for not just outright, but for class. In A2, they're coming up to one of the Lady Sixes down here at the 2 left-hand turns. So air conditions outside right now, the way you might feel a bit crisp, but still 13 degrees outside. They're expecting 8 degrees overnight, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime in the next 1 hour and 21 minutes and 10 seconds that ticks over. But certainly the conditions will change. Engineers will think about what they need to do to get these cars home. Tyre pressures will be key, like you said, Matty Cav, earlier. One little PSI adjustment can make a massive difference.
And surely that'll be something that they'll be getting the gauges onto for the pit stops, just to bleed off that excess pressure. Heavy running for extended periods of time, of course, pump temperature and pump pressure into these tyres, and of course affecting how the cars handle and respond around this awesome venue.
Yeah, only 6 corners to get around on just over 3.1 kilometres, but you got to negotiate it, don't you? Like we said, the track has its own characteristics. It's got a little bit of character to it. And more drivers unstuck already through many of their categories, little brake lockups and things like that, especially as this race progresses past the 1 hour mark. I definitely see if they don't get those tyre pressures right, we could see a few little hairy moments out there. They're still managing to go down their back straight just on the inside, staying away from their clean up, the dust they throw down there to soak up the oil. These two currently leading overall, White and Kearns. Kearns just backed off just a fraction once again. We saw that down to about 0.3 of a second for a couple of laps, and now just sitting back for a moment and waiting for that opportunity. I'm sure the team are down in pit lane just doing the maths at the moment. We're only 1/3 way through this race with just under an hour and 20 minutes left. Starting to get through a little bit of traffic as they come around to lap some of the cars. Have a look at this, fastest lap of the race from White, a 1:20.25. Right behind him, they Kearns, a 1:20.20. You're not going to get much closer than that. Just 1/1000th of a second difference.
You notice they've both just turned it up in the last couple of laps, so are they thinking it's pit stop time coming soon? He's trying to shake away Kearns and using lap traffic at the same time. And Kearns is just hanging there. In the darkness, you look up and go, oh, you're still there.
Just lurking. Oh, it's a wide line there through 3 for our race leader.
But look at the difference between the front brake disc on the two cars. 2 identical Mustangs, and a difference between the leader and second place.
Yeah, it's a bit of a telltale sign whether they're having any issues with those brakes. It's strange to me that like even before we saw Kearns going by, even though the glow was still there, it was a lot lower. Whereas now it's really bright though for White, and we're seeing cars go to the pit lane already. Gunther enters.
Comes Mercedes-Benz. So Mitch Randall will be ready to roll. Beautiful looking car. It's got that Mercedes F1 look about it, hasn't it? And 3 minutes, they've got time to get it right, but they've got to sit there for 3 minutes, and that's not sit there from start to finish. So enter pit lane, exit pit lane. So you've got to be careful on how you do that. One, we've said before, drivers do it by 1 or 2 seconds, and it's a pit lane penalty.
That's a pat on the posterior there as the co-driver jumps in. And down there on the scene, Tammy, what are you seeing?
I've just been overhearing some of the engineers talk about car 91s come in. They think they might have done a coil. They have turned the engine off and having a look at it now.
So more to the story. Thanks, Tammy. Down the pit lane. So more to this. They're inside the window. Of course, we have been now for 22 minutes. It's a crafty way of pumping the fuel in too, with 1 air and 1 in for fuel. Really eliminates having that second person that used to hold the catch can on the one side to capture any fuel, also to rush the air out. It's now the Siamese system, it has been for a long time.
And if we all safe from down the pit lane as well.
Yes.
There's a chance of leakage, anything spilling out, potentially causing any sort of drama in pit lane, especially with the heat these cars will be going through now.
I remember this is showing my age, but I was the catch can guy in a supercar here many years ago when you have 38 cars in a race and it all try and pit at once and getting grabbed by a rear wing while you're trying to hold the breather in on one side. And we all thought, this is a little bit unsafe here. Thankfully they changed the rules and made it one side of the car only with the Siamese couplings to safeten it up a little bit down there. But yeah, this was some scary times.
Back when men were men and OH&S was not even a thing.
No one understood what that meant.
It wasn't an acronym back then.
No. OS. I think that's what we said. What's OS?
Those brakes are really warm at the front there, aren't they? They're definitely a lot more ambient light coming off them throughout the entire lap. Now they're starting to get very wide. White is using every bit of that little short track there to get around.
If you remember years ago, there used to be a curb on the exit there. And when Tony Quinn took the track over, they dug that out because it caused so much damage back in the day. Cars would often get out there and get tripped over it. Or if a car was feeding you out there, you had nowhere to go but hit the curbs. And this is an old school curb track. You don't want to hit them, especially these ones on the final turns. So it's got a shelf that climbs up there and it really fires the cars back out Osborne Racing Line, unlike the Vallelunga or the Sawtooth curves that you see on the left there at the final turn.
Lindsay Kearns walking back off the rear of Trent White as White goes purple for a new best lap, 1 minute 19.98. The gap now 1.5 seconds as we come back down to the number 91 in the pits. That's Gunther.
Well, this is the difference between some of our teams that we saw in Sydney is we're not using a mobile phone as a torch. We've actually got a professional torch out there. Because we did see that, didn't we? Getting around with a phone. They do everything now, don't they?
Everything they can't do.
You can even Google what the problem is. I'm sure they can get an OBD2 port that they can plug into an iPhone.
ChatGPT, yeah. What's going on with my car?
Oh, they're taking their time to go over that though. They want to make sure that car goes out and is running. Camilleri, you can see in the MPS. That's sitting in 4th position, going to do a double stint here in the C-Class car. 4th overall at the moment. Ticini in front. Just sort of settled into that rhythm she has. 121.6, seems to be the lap time, back to 124 at the moment. That's settled down. Big charge at the start of this race to try and make up a number of positions. Not quite on the pace of White and Kearns, so quite happy to sit back there in 3rd at the moment.
Between the Rod Sadie and David Murphy cars doing good here. 3rd in the A2 class and 8th out.
Oh, no.
And off the track is Holden O'Flynn in the Class C car. And that's down at turn 3. Punt heavily again in the gravel. And 1 hour 14 remains on the clock. 46 minutes into the race. Is this the moment? Safety car is out.
I think that explains it. I wouldn't be surprised we see a procession of cars now come in. What it will give the opportunity, though, is whether Gunther can get that car, the 91, back out there and try and catch up a lap or two.
So looking like Murphy and the 41 diving into the pits, making his way down pit lane. Great shots from our drone. The Queensland Raceway lit up. The top deck bar is absolutely pumping, and what a scene.
It shows you how busy the paddock area is as well.
300 entrants.
Yeah, again. In fact, areas I didn't think you put race cars are in are actually there. As he gets Rod Sadie to take the wheel. 42 years of age, jumping behind the wheel of the Holden HSV, the GTS model, and now pit lane. It's a height of activity as they back it down to 40 kilometres an hour and make their way in. The safety car might be the only car out there soon, with the rest of the field making its way into pit lane.
It might do a couple of solo laps.
So Ticini into pit lane.
They need to get a bit further up there because A, you've got the 41 behind and they want to be able to get that fuel in, and you've got another car coming in as well. So all that space in the 58, the Toyota 86, the Class D car, has parked at 45-degree angles. They won't be able to get the fuel filler in there, but he can't get a spot in traffic there either.
Cramped confines.
So this is Bacchini trying to get the car back where it needs to go.
So they've sent Annabelle Rolfo back out because there was no space for her to pull the 86 up. So she goes back out. Thankfully, it's under safety car.
And gets out in front of the safety car as
Just,
well.
yeah. And the safety car was literally at the control line. There'd be a red light there to stop the cars. Still flashing green from our end as the Williams car, not Jenkins behind the wheel tonight. Troy Williams had to jump out and ring a ding ding. David Ling will drive for the balance of today's race. The Bacchinis now. Carla, that was a solid stint, wasn't it, to get that car up into 3rd outright. Solid move. And a bit of fuel spill here by the look of it.
Well, the car just looks like it might have pulled the clutch out on that when he got in the car. Maybe put it in gear and pulled the clutch out and it's launched forward for a second. Might have caused that fuel filler to come out. Great to have the crew on board to instantly grab that fire extinguisher.
And presence of mind to put a sheet over the wheel just in case any fuel spills out and gets on the hot brake discs and have a flash flame down there. You see it there, right-hand side. They'll give the car a wiper to make sure there's no fuel residue. Drag the sheet away, and they should be good to go anytime soon when that 3-minute mark is up. They're still going to do the 3 minutes regardless of the safety car situation here. It feels like an eternity, doesn't it, sitting there for that long?
And they'll be watching that safety car thinking, please don't go around again, slow down. Just give us a little bit more time. And we've really got a feel for those cars that came in like we saw before and got to go back out there and just go around and keep doing laps because 3 minutes is going to stop them getting in pit lane.
Jesse Dixon jumped into the O'Connor car, so he was kitted up at the right time, wasn't he? We saw him on the pit wall a few moments ago. Wax the starter, and the Class D car about to rejoin the race. They're 10th outright on the screens right now and 3rd in class. Rob Jarvis has stayed out there. Bit of a shake of the head from the Bacchini team now. This is what happened a few moments ago. So, Rowan Sadie and Dave Murphy car was down there, and that's the reason. Look at the fuel. See, the fuel was pumping out there. They tried to get a push back. Gee, they were lucky not to have a flashbang. A lot of heat coming out of that car. And on a cool night, Brendan Samai from the team to protect it from, that's the fuel puddle down there. It's been tidied up. Mel, busy pit lane.
Yeah, well, I was just saw the Jenkins Lynn car come in, and I was expecting to see you with your helmet on, ready to jump in, and you're just standing there.
No, unfortunately, we've got a bit of a fuel consumption issue, so we've got to do 2 fuel stops, and the safety car's actually played right in our hands. We'll get a free fuel stop, and then I'll be back in the next time it comes in.
So he's doing a good job so far. You've let him stay in.
Yeah, well, he's had probably a lot more laps around here than I have, so he's doing a really good job. We're here running in class. We're 2nd in class at the moment, so we've only got 1 more to get in front of us, so this has really saved our bacon.
It's good when things go your way, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often in this sport, but yeah, it happened today.
Oh, well done, thank you.
No, thank you.
David Ling down in pit lane as in comes our leader. Flashing lights. I think it's fair to go back to your point before, but they won't go a lap down because the safety car will take a lot longer than 3 minutes to do a lap around here. So they're tabulating the time here. David Ling talking to the crew. The tools overall standing. Go back to the Paul Cruikshank racing days of yesteryear.
I'm glad we're staying with the Aussie slang though. Save the bacon.
Save the bacon, right? Yeah, that one slipped through. I didn't pick that one up.
Should we call this the castle race?
Yeah. What do you know about pit lane?
Yeah.
Here comes the white car. Remember Bryce Fuller drove this car as well. Remember it stopped late in the race on the Friday night.
They thought they had a fuel pump issue, didn't they? And they put more fuel in. Actually, it came out like it was full.
Yeah, there was a pickup problem with the car in the end. So White jumps out. Our race leader puts Jarvis into the lead. So our series leader or leaders leading this race. Let's have a look here on the High Tech Oils replay. We believe there's been a bit of contact somewhere along here. This is the leader coming into the pits. And yeah, there was more than contact.
Camilleri has got to cut that corner very, very fine. Is it just the wheel sticking out with a little bit of lock potentially in the background there for the 25? So he might have just grabbed the wheel of Kearns. Will it then be causing issues further on? That's going to be the question.
See if our pit lane girls can get onto the JOB down there as the safety car whizzes on by once again with a handful of cars trying to stay with it, and a very active pit lane at Queensland Raceway. Hope you enjoyed the coverage. We're back tomorrow for another big day with qualifying in the morning. The TA2 muscle cars to start the day. Live across the country from 1 p.m. in this High Tech Oil Series, the 3rd round of 2025. We'll be back here in August.
He's under pressure, isn't he, with the camera on? He just line it up now. He's done that all day without the camera on.
Flawless.
Yeah, flawless.
Absolutely flawless. Manages to get that lug nut on. And of course, this is not something that we want to rush. How many cars have we seen with lug nut issues, losing a wheel because it was cross-threaded, it was rushed, under pressure?
It's the wheel nut. It's crazy. Considering you've got that time to do it, you just feel the pressure. You know you've got to get the job done. You've got people around you. You've got the stress of the crew. It's a noisy environment.
Camera over your shoulder.
He's trying to see what's going on here. The driver running out there for roll photo. Is that
Annabelle
just going back to make some minor adjustments there to help out?
Good to see a big smile on the face after the first stint.
Now, Carlos jumps in and will take the car to the checkered flag here tonight. The Carbies Toyota 86, our Class D runner that was mixing it up with Casabiello early in the race for 3rd and 4th in the D class section, the production cars. The fastest lap of the race was 1:19.9 just before that safety car was called for our race leader. He'll be the effective race leader because Rob Jarvis is yet to pit in the number 70 car and hand over to son Alan at the end of this. I don't know if he's going to try and stretch it as far as he can, maybe get inside that last hour window as out goes the 18 to rejoin. No, he's going to come in now. There he is. Now, race leader now will hand the reins back to the 18 as he leaves. He arrives in pit lane, and the day is over for the whole team after going off. I wonder if that was brake issues with the 51. It looked pretty red and sad when it was parked on the gravel there, perhaps, boys.
Yeah, it was tough to see that Astra having to bow out of contention there, going off at turn 3. You could just see the blinking yellow lights from the recovery in the background here of this shot from the Hi-Tech Oils wall cam. The Hyundai safety car, we knew it was going to come into play here, and it has really pushed things around. At the moment, Jarvis is the only one on the lead lap, but currently in the pits, according to our timing screens. Queensland Raceway, under lights.
Well, hasn't it kept some excitement going? We're almost halfway through this race now. Just over an hour and 4 minutes to go in this production car race. 2 hours, so almost at the halfway mark. And we still haven't seen Schickfield come back out in that car without looking for either a tail shaft or a drive shaft at the back. It looked more like a drive shaft, didn't it, when they were under it?
Yeah.
And Quinn, obviously, unfortunately, we have crossed that before, where the Camaro unfortunately had an engine give way and leave a little bit of fluid on the track, which caused the safety car earlier. Quite surprised to see that tilt tray having to bring the 51 car out. In the meantime, let's find out what's going on in pit lane with Tammy.
Trent White, you've been able to set up a good lead. How are you feeling about tonight's race?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit different at night. Can't quite see as much, but yeah, definitely skipped away from P2, got it out in the lead and managed to hang on to our pit stop, so all's looking good so far.
Fantastic. Good luck with the rest of the race.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay, Annabelle Rolfo, you came into the pits, we thought it was all about to happen, and then, yeah, you took off again.
Yeah, it didn't turn out how we planned it to. We were sharing a fuel with someone else and we both came in at the same time. So it was just a little bit too congested, so I had to go back out there and wait for them to finish before we could come in. But
yeah, awkward moment. I know you've been feeling unwell. You said you're exhausted, so fantastic effort.
yeah, I'm proud of myself for staying in the car as long as I did. I didn't think I'd last. I had a nap. I had a cheeky nap before the endurance race, and I'm glad it's over, that's for sure.
Well, hopefully Dad can bring home the bacon.
I hope he can as well.
Thank you.
Lovely bit of time behind the wheel of that Toyota 86. And Papa Rolfo will bring it home. Into the pits comes the 51. And their day is done. Shouldn't be too far away from going back to Green Flag Racing, our second safety car period of the Australian Production Car Series. Race 2 of the weekend, the QR 300. We'll get the 300 Ks in here tonight. It should be 2 hours, maybe. It's gone fairly clean. We've had 2 safety cars. I was expecting, there's the curse.
Oh, are you breeding?
You've done it. Here it comes.
Yeah. Go on, say the line. They breed what?
Say the line, no. No, I'll sit right back now.
He's been not be far yet.
No, I'm locked over here.
Looks like the safety car's going to get off the track, and we're about to get this race back underway. The 51 of Holt has been removed from the track with the tilt tray. And let's get the accelerators down to those firewalls and jet away. Walker leading us at the moment.
A lot of cars holding back there at the start, wasn't there? There was quite a pedestrian-like restart, and there's some big gaps through the field as they charge towards turn number 1. Jarvis has come back out on the track, but won't be a lap down at least. He's going to drop to the tail of that group of cars after handing the wheel over to Alan Jarvis. They're trying to keep their lead of the series cemented at the top. Nice to see a Class D car actually leading outright this year's Australian Production Car Series, but very early days.
It's time, Australia, to...
What's his timing? Because obviously Williams and Linton, we let us know, didn't he, Linton, that car's got some fuel. They're going to have to come in for a second pit stop, which we might not see from all of the cars, so they've still got to run down and get a driver change done and some fuel put in.
Meantime, the Pacini car picking him off one by one, and here comes the 25 Mustang as well, with Brad Carr behind the wheel. So they're picking off the slower cars and charging towards that front with Walker, who's behind the wheel after Trent White's fabulous stint at the start of tonight's race.
This race all of a sudden just got very busy on the restart here, but I wonder how long it will take for us to see those bright glowing brake rotors, especially on the Mustangs. Number 18 in question.
looked to me like a bit of that tyre carcass was still on the road there on the way down to turn 6 from that Mark Griffith blowout on the first couple of laps. So hopefully that's been cleared out of the way. Don't want to hit that at high speed. Cause some damage to the underneath of your race car out there, but it looks like whoever hit it has punched off the racing line and maybe onto the infield section. 4-car battle here through turn 2. As everybody tries to bring the tyres back up to temperature and cooling conditions, we're starting to head towards 10 degrees ambient outside. And picking up they left off, don't worry, that's the clean up material from before. It's not another engine, got our attention as well. The 2 Mustangs pick up where they left off.
Yeah, we just have a look at that now. Hasn't Walker and White done really well out of that pit stop strategy as well? Car a bit further down, it was a connection. You're right, there's a bit of that tyre carcass left over. And we're going to have to watch out for that because when they come up, they can take out some wiring, a brake duct, something like that, get caught under a car, cause a bit of a fire with the heat tube, it gets trapped under some of the exhaust. So it is something we need to be very careful of for some of the drivers they see it out there. You don't want to hit that. And we know what an object like that with a bit of rubber has a little bit of weight in it, hit it 150 kilometres an hour, causes a lot of damage.
Watching Troy Derwin in the number 76 car after Oscar Butt started this race earlier tonight. We believe the issue with the 51 was the steering had locked up coming down to turn 3, simply couldn't turn in. So that gave me a bit of a wake-up call. Driving there at nearly 200 k's and the steering didn't want to turn, it went straight on.
Yeah, I can definitely think of better things to have happened.
On a Saturday night?
Yeah. Holt, unfortunately, a date with the tilt tray. And now safely back into the pits along with Quinn and Shinfield still languishing as we head on down. Mel, who you got?
So I've got Graham here from Jake Camilleri's team. Little bit of an incident on the way in for the pit stop then. What happened?
It's a bit exciting. I think Lindsay got a little bit eager to go and his car controller said go after Jake and he's gone just as Jake's turned in front of me. He just hit our door. It's no real biggie for us. We weren't stationary at the time, so our 3 minutes is still fine. Slowed him up a bit because he was already done his 3-minute stop and he had to push it back and go. So it probably cost him more than it did us. It probably put us up a position, really.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, currently running right up the front obviously hasn't cost you anything.
Yeah, P2. The car feels okay, so we'll just see how it goes. As long as that rear tyre hasn't been compromised, that's all fine.
We'll find out soon enough, won't we?
Good, thank you.
It's an alarming lack of Aussie slang that interview, by the way.
Do better. Well, we saw that wayward piece of rubber just getting skittled along into the final corner. Looks like that may have actually gone off onto the grass now, so fingers crossed, no major issues there.
It just won't go away, will it? It's been hit about 6 times now, it's still on the track.
Quick lap time for the number 18 A2 machine, 1 minute 19.98. That's proper fast.
It's starting to load up pretty quickly around here. That was the Trent White lap back on lap 28 as well. We're running back in the 22s at the moment.
It didn't look right to me. It looked like it was moving around just a little bit, didn't it? It looked like a wobble coming out of the number 30 on the front wheel.
You almost have to wonder then if the brake rotor is warped and there's actually a cold spot where the pads aren't actually contacting.
Yeah. You know, in pit lane, they don't want to keep their foot on the brake. It's the amount of heat they've got and the brake pads sitting on them. That's what warps them in the car. Creates a little bit of damage where that hot spot is. No, it does look like it. Hey, it gives the illusion. I don't want to say that is what it's doing, mate. It's just the angle that we're looking at it. Potentially something in there.
It's never got a flicker about it. It's the Vulture Mazda car you're talking about there, Jake Camilleri. It's the only driver, or only car that's got one driver in there. Camilleri tends to do these events on his own. Certainly has the race fitness to follow on these cars around. Remember, we come back in August, it's a 3-hour, the annual Fight the Night event, which will be as part of this 19 Oil Super Series. There'll be a lot of cars queuing up for that. Well, let's hope this is the last time we see the tyre carcass that's been hit once, twice, and to get collected that time, maybe. Either way, it's out of the way now. We believe down there from the earlier incident for Mark Griffith. So, because that was probably going to attract race control at some point. It is a danger out there. Oh no, spoke too soon. Still there. The most stubborn tyre you'll ever see in a racetrack.
And would you be able to see it, especially if you're coming out, you got the lights on top here, but it's a last minute thing, right?
Yeah.
When you approach it, it's not really going to stand out. It's not a different colour to the track.
And you're low down as well. It's the same colour as the asphalt that it's sitting on.
You're not looking for it, and you're coming into a braking marker.
Yeah.
It's moved down a bit now, but before that, you're looking for your braking markers. You're not worried about the tyre on the track.
So there it is. In fact, just on the outside of the racing line there, to driver's left. So it'll eventually find its way back to the gravel track somewhere. So we go back to the leaders coming through. To complete another lap, Walker has about 9 seconds back to Camilleri, leading Class C in second outright now. Troy Williams still behind, or is behind the wheel now, of the David Ling Insurance Brokers Ford Falcon GT. It's original GT, in fact. They've taken it back to the Moffat era of the 70s with that livery. It was in the hands of Jeremy Gray and the Medickies for many seasons in the Bathurst 6 Hour. Sat in Gero Gray's place for many, many years before being wheeled out and back on a racetrack, and that's good to see. Just think about, oh, there was a drama happening down there for the race leader, perhaps. He was coming in hot at turn 3. There's a number 17 car comes into pit lane. November Casamiello was in 10th position, and probably 4th outright. Here it is in the High-Tech Oils replay. We just zipped away. Notice a different incident on the way down. Oh, it's the CMA Mustang. So car 25 that was running second earlier, with Kearns behind the wheel. That was a lazy lose. And he's still trying to recover and get back on the track. A flick spin. Jared McLean style leaving the car park after the race tonight and rejoins the race.
Make a quick stop to Macca's, grab a couple of trays and stick them under the back of the Hyundai i30.
They were the days. Here's a replay of what we saw from White. Now, went through that clean-up material. What a solid save.
I got to say, he kind of missed the initiation point, but he went deep into the zone there.
Definitely didn't get the handbrake up for that initiation like we used to do back in the High-Tech Drift All-Stars days. Yes.
You guys right, or?
Yeah, well, we're just reminiscing really for us, a different generation, Nolts, you know.
Saturday night, drifting, goes hand in hand.
Yeah. DJ's going. We need a couple of glow sticks in here and we'll be right.
Tony Quinn's glasses, perhaps. Where we go.
I have to ask the question, did these guys throw tyres at this Mustang?
Green tyres in the back for sure. We watched them bowling. We had plenty of time to look at them.
That's right. That was the mechanic was under pressure.
Yeah. He got 3 on really quickly, but camera always stops him. Goes in down the middle of pit lane.
So, saw the number 19 car come in and he pulled straight into the garage, which is not what we want to see.
No, not at all. Tom, I drove and I was okay. The young pups, they got no spirit.
Oh, yeah, you caught the car on fire, didn't you? We thought it was that somebody else.
No, that was it. Unbelievable. No, it's what's happened at lap 3 or whatever. It's blown a right front. We're not sure if it's damaged something underneath, but it's blistered another tyre. When Tony Quinn blew, he's obviously blown an engine. I've skated at 200 kilometres an hour down the wall. I didn't hit anything, but I think I flat spotted all the tyres going sideways. So I think they're all one at a time going to let go. So we're just checking them all now. It's not worth Tom binning the thing for no reason.
Yeah, well, by the looks of the tyres, when they come back, I think you've dodged 2 bullets already tonight.
I have. I've had 2 code browns already.
Okay, thank you. Over to you, Tammy.
Chris, well, you just jumped out of car 51. We're hearing that you've got the steering wheel has been locked up. Have you got any idea maybe what's caused it?
Something in the steering column's failed and it's just locked the wheel up. It just went straight ahead off 3 under brakes and we couldn't turn the wheel, couldn't go anywhere. So we've managed to knock it out. So we'll send Jerry out and see how he goes.
Fantastic. All the best.
I got to say, how good is Mark Griffiths? It's just, what a character.
It's a walking podcast,
Isn't it?
Yeah. Tammy, I think you need to tell Holt to step up his Aussie slang game.
Yeah.
We ticked off about 4 of them, didn't we?
Griffo's got no dramas today. He's a class leader. Fantastic. Car 17 about to leave the pits. There he goes.
A little bit of vigour on the clutch pedal there.
Yeah. Over 40 kilometres per hour. That's what's that, 36, 37. I'll dial back those pit lane limiters to make sure they don't go over that. It's a costly mistake. Should have been made. The number 17 car comes back out onto the track. Down in 11th position in tonight's race. Angus Bales now behind the wheel. The young teenager who's been racing XLs here for the last few years. Was last year's rookie of the season. Progressing up this year into the Toyota 86 GR Cup. We should hear more and more names now, especially with the scholarship series that's almost oversubscribed now as well, and they're getting younger and younger behind the wheel of a race car, aren't they?
And faster and faster.
And faster, yeah.
And it seems to be a feeder category for TA2 at the moment as well. They're all stepping up into those slightly bigger cars that slide around a lot more as well. So, you know, there's so much new talent, I think, in Australia at the moment, as well as the young Kiwis that are coming over to join the party here on the bigger island.
Great. And especially with the help going across there at the bench at the moment, they get to run over the summertime, particularly with TA2 New Zealand starting as well. It's going to be a massive couple of years coming up there. Just when you thought a few years ago we were heading down a real dark hole of some categories not coming back, I don't recall a time seeing motorsport so strong in this country, particularly at this level.
A late burst of speed from Dixon in the number 87 machine, going to a 123.31 last lap, and started out strong going green in sector 1. But the pace looking to have died off slightly this lap, but 40 laps in and starting to pick it up.
I can't believe how well Walker's done out of that pit stop strategy with them. They have just seen the cars that were alongside them drop back down the field. We see Kearns now back in 9th position, although that was after a bit of a spin there where they had to regroup from that. Wasn't in the top 5. So Heaney having a nice little drive now, jump back in the car after that pit stop and refill to hopefully bring this car to the checkered flag. Just under 50 minutes remaining in this Australian production car endurance race here. Night number 1 of the 2 days of Thunder here this weekend, and we reminisce about 35 years ago when the Days of Thunder hit the movie theatres.
What a great movie, what a great time.
Bit of reminisce about that, didn't we, when they jammed the gear in for Hayden Jackson in the TA2. Singing in top.
35 years though, where did that go?
Just to show how young we're getting.
Just for a bit of context, I think I was about 9 months old when Days of Thunder came out.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Is that payback for the
yeah, you're welcome.
missing your session comment? Which I still want to hear about. I haven't forgotten.
Don't worry, I haven't either.
It's crazy. So Walker about to set another fastest lap here. Incidentally, they lost a bit in that last sector. He set the fastest sector of the race so far at sector 1. And now has 15 seconds back to Jake Camilleri, who's second outright and leader of Class C. Paul Bacchini is in 3rd and leading the B1 class. Jesse Dixon runs in 4th and leads Class D. So a nice mixture inside the top 5. So we go back down to pit lane with 47 minutes to go.
So, Emily, you've just jumped out of your Toyota 86. Watching on, tell us, how was your stint out there?
It was very long. God, with the guys out there that I'm up against, it's straight competition. Like, there's different breeds of cars, so you don't know what they're going to do, where they're going to do it. So you just got to keep your eyes up and hope for the best.
And so, what are the conditions out there like tonight?
It's a little hard to see, believe it or not. But no, it's pretty good. I like night racing. It just keeps your mind focused. Nothing else to see, so just keep your eyes on the track.
And now your co-drivers out there, what are you hoping for the end of the race?
I'm hoping P3, but fingers crossed. Don't know what's going to go out there, so we'll see.
Be great to see you on the podium. Well done, great job.
Thank you.
So young, she sounded like she had a night out there on the track.
Oh no!
There was a drama when we were down in the pits. It looks like the clean and wash car, perhaps, of Rohit Saini. The 42-year-old was limping coming out of turn 3, and I don't think that car's going to make it back to the pits. It is cruising almost to a standstill, and could we get another safety car period?
I'm interested too, because our timing screen showing Holt's gone back out in the 51, so that steering drum was already fixed, and no, it could potentially be electric steering in that car. We see the shafts there, maybe it's just a fuse or a plug or something come undone.
I understand from Shelley Ives, who's running the category this weekend, they were definitely trying to get that car back out there and at least get a result, so he's back there in 14th position with some 17 laps behind. In fact, it's only shown at the moment 2 cars on the lead lap after that pit stop cyclist. Wait for that to correct itself, but as it seems, Walker and Camilleri on lap 45 of this intended 300-kilometre race, and 2 hours of duration, have which is 45 minutes remaining. We have Walker leading by 20 seconds back to Camilleri. Puccini, Dixon, Williams and Troy Derwin back in 6th. Alan Jarvis behind the wheel of car 70 is in 7th. Carlos Rolfo behind the wheel of the 58 Toyota 86 back in 8th spot. Kearns and Sadie, who's now slowing down and will about to be overtaken for 10th spot in a few moments' time. And the race somehow is staying green.
How about this battle happening between Derwin and Jarvis? Classes C and D. Volkswagen Polo just firing into the night. Jarvis picks up the 6th spot. Both of them on the same lap. They're currently 2 laps down, or rather a lap and a half down on our race leader. But still hanging tough.
So Alan Jarvis behind the wheel now, the Volkswagen Polo GTI. Leading the series, Class E champion back in 2022 and Class C champion, reigning Class C champion, Australian Production Car Series. None of the guys that's moved up from the Speedway ranks over years. In fact, he's one of 3 V8 Dirt modified races in tonight's race. Mitch Randall and Chris Holt. Oh, that's an awkward moment. Across the curbs through 2. And now we have potentially a change of position going on the way down to turn number 3.
That's the number 51 of Holt just getting picked off there. Down into turn 3, you have to wonder if they're being a little ginger as they pitch it in.
It's going to make you nervous, doesn't it? You've just gone off with a steering gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fixed. Go out again.
You'll be fine. Send it.
Will it happen again? I don't know.
You tell me now.
You'll be the first to know.
Yeah. You've got to have a trusting crew there. The fact that 51 car has split this battle pack up, that was the position between Jarvis and Derwin in the 78 car. Not a class battle, but certainly for outright position in 6th and 7th. And this time we'll make the move here on the Holt car. Just saw him at the last moment. Yeah, I did the same. Looked away from the screen for a moment.
It was a cringy moment. That bit of rubber's gone now. That's definitely that bit getting off the track, because otherwise he was going to pick that up. I'm sure Holt didn't want to get that under the car.
So we're just starting to enter that point, aren't we? With 43 minutes to go. We're starting to see some mistakes. Will we see another safety car period? Will there be a change at the front? Will mechanical issues start to play a part? The race had zipped on by quite quickly. The 47th lap of this race is Puccini making the pass here on the Lyle Kearns car. Sorry, the Lindsay Kearns car down at the final turn to complete another lap. And hopefully we get a full complement of cars in there, minus Tony Quinn. I don't think we'll see the game over Chevy Camaro back tomorrow for the final 30 minutes. The Sheffield car, hopefully they can repair that into the night and be ready for the final 30-minute race. The Australian Production Car Series, round 2 of 2025. They're back in August for a 300k fighting tonight. Under lights here. It's where it really morphed out of many years ago now and become an annual event. Big fields of cars. We should have a capacity grid for that one. It's part of the High-Tech Oil Super Series event here in August.
Yeah, can't wait for that as we head to round 4. High-Tech Oil Super Series. We're still going to go to Mallala later in the year as well down in South Australia. It's been a little bit of time. Get your home track, really.
Thank you, boys.
Yeah.
We've had some fun there.
That'll be my first time there. I'm not looking forward to the hangover.
No. So we're going
to be careful when you take us down to play.
Here's Mel.
Oh, Chris, sad to see the number 51 there. Have you had any communication about what happened?
No, we actually haven't heard anything from him. He's just gone deep in there. I've tried to give him a few radio calls and I haven't heard anything back yet. So unfortunately I can't give you any news. So bit of luck, we can get it out, clean her out and get a check flag, get some points. That's the best we can do.
Yeah, so heartbreaking, so close to the end after such a long race, isn't it?
Own sport, isn't it?
Sorry, you got to take the good with the bad, tough luck.
Thank you very much, cheers.
Yes, maybe the communications are down as well. Hopefully it's not a ongoing steering issue in that car, because when you're fighting the same thing, it's going to be hard to come into a 30-minute race tomorrow and have that confidence to push the car to its absolute limits. You don't want to be chasing something that potentially leading you back to the workshop and going through a wiring loom or something like that if there's some sort of wiring issue with the electronics. Looks like the car's still running. I mean, trying to drive out of that, headlights are on, so...
It's now the second time it's happened. Would you want to be behind the wheel knowing it's done that twice now? Would you bring it back to the pits, go, you know what, let's call it and see if we can diagnose it overnight? No, it's only going to be, maybe less than 10 minutes when they go back to green flag, but you don't want to risk it again. It goes off somewhere where there is no escape plan.
Or he's going to go around and drive it at 80%, just like he's able to the shops, just to get the points.
That's true.
You might only be under high temperatures, you know, with the brakes being so warm there, that'll translate through the car and up the steering as well eventually. Let's head out to pit lane though with Mel.
So Carly Pacini, currently third outright, and I see that the fastest lap in your car was on lap 4, which was you. So faster than Dad.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. That was a lot of fun out there just then to get it up to third. So yeah, no, fastest lap as well. That's awesome. I love that.
And I was having a chat to your dad while you were out there. He was very proud and a little bit emotional. So looking forward to a sentimental podium potentially coming up for you guys in not very long.
Yeah, hopefully. That's really cool. It's really fun to drive with Dad. I haven't done it before, so yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, having a great time.
Yeah, great effort. Good on you both. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Should be proud of that effort from earlier to get that car was at 14th up into third place. Dad's got behind the wheel and kept it there for the remainder.
Oh, and the blistering start, Carly.
Yeah.
He got out there and made a lot of positions in the first 10 laps. Very quick off the start line. We know how quick the car can be. It was unfortunate to see him further back. Just fingers crossed the curse doesn't come out in the last 10 minutes. We've thrown every speculator at it.
Beautiful shot of the moon, though. That happens there. The rest of the world's got some sun burning. We're well into the night here as the O'Flynn car tries to bounce its way out of the gravel trap being towed by the Queensland Raceway Rapid Response Team. They've had their work cut out across the entire day here. No doubt tomorrow, when we go racing from the early hours right to 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, this third round of the Hi-Tech Oil Super Series.
I think we're going to have to do a bit of driver's brief tomorrow. Remind the Fink was run and done a couple of weekends ago.
You're late.
Yeah.
So 9.5 minutes. You'd think there'd be 1 to 2 laps still behind the safety car. I hope, just pray that someone's going to pick up that piece of time. Sammy, rescue us.
Griffo, I was having a bit of a chat to you. You were like a kid on Christmas Day when you saw that safety car come in. Where does it put you now?
Well, it wasn't my car that was off, so you're always happy when it's not yours. And no one's hurt, so that's always good. No, I don't know, we've had 2 tyres blow, so we're down several laps. But in class, we're right behind each other beyond the safety car with my good mate here. He got out before. He's trying to burn the paint on the front of my car with his flames. All my wraps all blistered from following the Falcon.
Troy, you're going to have Griffo behind you. How are you going to take him on?
It's a scary place for Griffo to be, trust me. But, look, you know, Griffo's been around motorsport for a long time, and it's great to have stalwarts in the category like him. So it's good fun racing. We can go door to door, have some fun, and you know, bring the cars home straight. And that's the main thing. So.
Great. Let's hope the safety guys can get the car in quick so we can check out this battle.
No, we're right for the safety car just to go to the end now. It's good. We can just go. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys.
Mercedes, what a deal, hey? What more could you ask for? The crowd's going to go wild.
Tommy Amon ain't going to sit behind Lingy for too long.
No. The
memo hasn't got out yet, the co-driver yet.
We've seen the brakes on that thing. Tommy Heyman is pushing hard into the corners.
Do you want a result or not?
Yeah.
Watch this.
And he knows one way. And he's going about a second and a half quicker a lap to Tommy Heyman than Lingy.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's in blistering race.
Should be fairly simple, you'd think. We go back to racing to Holt, Luke Lynn cars back in the pits. So that stubborn piece from earlier, they're finally going to take that off.
Oh, I don't know.
Really scrambling to try and get that thing back out, aren't they?
I think just pulling that out of the gravel, that might have come unstuck.
Yeah. And they are now.
Bodypet Insurance gives $1 million in support to us.
Two-hour production car race to wrap up day 2. Bales, this is close. Jarvis almost had the 87 on the rear parcel shelf of Jesse Dixon in the battle for 4th and 5th position. And Tom Heyman has caught these two. But is a few laps down, but they'll race this like it is for position. 5.5 remaining. There's some desperate stuff happening here at Queensland Raceway. The way the cars bounce their way through that right-hand turn at speed, punches the car across to the curb on the outside. Is it a flash of the high beams?
Look at Heyman coming down the inside here. Can you watch that? Come down the inside into 3. Cool and calm under braking, isn't he? Dixon does a fantastic job on the outside.
The best thing Heyman can do is just clear out of this. I mean, even the guys behind him, so Dixon and Jarvis, they're not even in the same fight as each other. You have to wonder at what point the radio call's going to come over and say, just settle into a rhythm, bring this thing home. You're down a couple of laps. Don't risk it.
Well, he's in control of his category at the moment, isn't he? Tommy Heyman. So they'll be in the A1 class over the league at the moment, and I'm sure the bands are still going on down there in pit lane. And we've plenty to talk about after this one. Camilleri now.
Yes, you're right. This is a battle for Class A1. It's 6 seconds this time by, and 4 minutes remain of the race. It's 11 seconds between Walker and that car. Camilleri in the Caboolture Mazda 3. The only 2 cars on the lead lap. In the closing stages of this race tonight, under lights. So really the A1 is the battle to talk about. I don't think David Ling has got a match for Tom Heyman. He's just been lighting up the racetrack in the Daimler Trucks Brisbane entry.
It's probably matched their bad luck. I mean, although Lingy's had to come in here, they didn't stay in long enough. They went and did a penalty. They've had to fill up twice as well just to get their car here with the tank they've got in it. Tommy Heyman and Griffith had to come in for tyres twice as well. So it's kind of even that category out, I suppose, when it comes to pit lane passes.
I tend to agree. Now, will this car get there without the dramas? Remember what happened in Sydney? Yeah, well, he wants to get out of town as quick as he can. It's not for a class battle either. It is for the upright win, but he's going to easily win the A2 class the way it looks. With Camilleri, the only solo driver in the field. And ahead of the B1 class cars and the A2 class cars.
Yeah, well, Walker's not pushing the cars so much at the moment. You can see that by the first sector time. He's got purple sector record for this race, but just at the moment, still just going around half a second off what the car's been average, maybe a second off. At a mid 121, where we know that car's been down to a high 119, low 120 fairly regularly, and they'd be pushing the fuel levels, getting lower. It's getting a little bit lighter now. The car would be ready to go, especially after that short break. The brakes had a chance to cool off just for a moment there. I think it's just bring this car home for Walker. Get a swagger points, keep the championship final alive.
Walker's still managed to pile on another 2 seconds in the course of the last lap as we go 2 minutes and 20 left to go on this QR300 2-hour enduro.
I don't think you want to roll off too much, do you? You've got a rhythm going, you know, you break markets, you get a little bit too relaxed, I suppose. So when mistakes start to creep in, you need to stone edge so the sensors are ready, your reactions are good to go, but you just got to keep to that lap time.
You're racing yourself, but you don't want to back off. Oh, and he's coming up to...
Is that another issue?
There's the Washington Clean car. Robert Saney was cruising out the final turn. So that's got electrical drama maybe, or it's a technical drama with this car. There's certainly no smoke or nothing. It just seems to falter and then get going again.
And there's so many issues that can be caused from that electrical gremlin, fuel, because it always seems to fire back up and get running again. So they'll have a busy night tonight and decide whether they want to stay up late tonight going over that car, or they go home, get a little bit of rest after a 2-hour race, and they come and hit that car very, very early in the morning and go over it.
Well, his last lap was nearly 34 seconds slower than his fastest lap of the race, so clearly that's limped around. This guy's not limping though. 27-0 in that first sector, so backed off by half a second. And the ultra diesel tuning Ford Mustang that he and Trent White have teamed up with. Of course, Bryce Ford was in this car at Sydney. But Walker's drive late in the race has been amazing, to say the least, even with a safety car period. And now has one turn remaining and 76 laps in the books. The Ford Mustang is heading for home here at Queensland Raceway down at Dick Johnson Straight. Walker and White win the 2-hour endurance race under lights here at QR. The fireworks explode above the top of Queensland Raceway. Maybe that was the screaming for. I was meant to tell you about that.
That was Pepperman on turn 3.
He dug it away. Well, Camilleri will be home for second. The only car on the lead lap behind our winner, cool shot of the Pacini team. Carlo Pacini watching on. And brings down the curtain on day number 1 of the 2 days of thunder. The High-Tech Oil Super Series. Paul Pacini home for third and winner of the B1 class. Jesse Dixon will win Class D. Back in fourth, outright ahead of Alan Jarvis, who'll be second in Class D. Kearns and Rolfo home for 6th and 7th. Kearns will be the A2 class winner, incidentally, in 6th outright. But the drive of the second hour had to go to Tom Heyman, boys.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. A real charge back. I know, really fighting out for the A1 class at the moment, but the speed he showed, having to come in, take a fire as well. We knew that his times would pick up, knowing how fast he's been in whatever car he drives. It's just the limited amount of laps that he had in that car. So, waits that, but class act there from our winners there. Walker doing a fantastic job behind the wheel, bringing that car home. They got the pit stop strategy right.
Great job. And 76 laps. And 3 safety car periods later, Glenn Walker and White will win tonight's 2-hour endurance race with Camilleri. Pacini home in third with Jesse Dixon, Jarvis, Kearns and Rolfo. All inside the top 7 with Tom Heyman. David Lynn did get home with that extra fuel stop. And Oscar Bush jumped into the 78 car to get a top 10 result. And second outright, second in Class C, I should say. In 10th spot with Randall behind there in 11th position. Angus Bales home for 12th. Back to Roach Sony, who will get a result regardless that they were 7 laps down. And Jared O'Flynn finishing in 14th. And Richard Sheepfield, those guys were in the pits the better part of 90. And the story, the sad story for the game over Chevy Camaro, bowing out early with Tony Quinn behind the wheel. That car didn't see the first round of pit stops.
We'll have to wait and see how that goes, especially knowing that they're down missing third gear in that car. So they've got to get that car back tomorrow. Let's check out some of our race highlights, though. And look, anything could happen. This was the explosion of the tyre there when Grippo was behind the wheel early on. A really scary moment because he doesn't turn when one's down on the rim. That could have got a lot worse for that team and a lot worse for the race. And we thought this was the moment where a bit of rubber inside the brake duct there was going to cause an issue, and then this happens. Tony Quinn going down the back straight at a walloping over 200 kilometres an hour, and out jumps the leg out of the LS, and there is oil smoke everywhere, and we let the slick down the back, which had to be cleaned up, and that car unfortunately tied off. We got back underway though. These were the two. The Mustangs wanted to go at it.
Yeah, we're worried there for a moment though. We'd make contact. That was the first moment for the 51 car that had steering dramas, ended up in. Then some stress in the pits here for the 999 BMW. Pacini, a fuel spill there for a moment. There was contact coming into the pits. The Camilleri car. Then White, after his successful stint, bolted Glenn Walker in behind the wheel. Then this moment we saw the two leading cars have two separate moments during the second half of the race. Over there for the Toyota 86 down here for the second time the 51 went off, this time with O'Flynn behind the wheel. That would be the third and final safety car, leaving us with a less than 10-minute sprint to determine, and Walker stretched that out to over 14 seconds at the end, and wins outright and wins the A2 class. The Australian Production Car Series QR300 under a burst of fireworks on a balmy Saturday night here in Ipswich. The Ford Mustang stand proud on the podium. Well done to Jake Camilleri. And Bell Price, some happy people down there in Victory Lane. Down to you.
Absolutely huge smiles all around. P3 for Team Bacchini here. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, thank you. That was awesome. What an awesome drive Carly did to start. That was just taking cars after cars. It was a sensational start. Gearbox overheated when we came in, so she came in early, so I took over. And I just short shifted everywhere. I didn't rev over 4,500 RPMs. I just kept the thing cool, and we got home. What amazing! And she planted the seed. She got us up there, and I just kept it there. Well done, Carly.
Yeah, fantastic drive. You both look back. First time you've driven together. What a great experience.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you so much. It's so good. Love it. Yeah.
Congratulations. Enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jake Camilleri, there's only one thing better than finishing an Enduro in production cars is getting on the podium. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Awesome race. I love those Enduros. 2 hours out in the car by myself. What could I ask for better on a Saturday night? Just cruising around. They had a really good race. Just worried about the tyre wear, front wheel drive, little turbo thing. So it's pretty hard on the front tyres and that. But yeah, it hung in there. Just a massive thanks to my crew, Big G Muds. Riley Joseph's here, Nick's here, and the family. So and a big thank you to Caboolture Mazda, the best Mazda dealer in Australia, constantly supporting me with my mighty Mazda MPS.
Fantastic, congratulations.
Very excited.
Okay, and it is the win for Glenn Walker and Trent White, bringing it home. How does that feel?
Amazing. Awesome drive out there today. Trent got out and just absolutely ripped it in the first stint, and I was lucky enough just to really nurse it home. But first P1, so couldn't be more excited. Awesome.
What did you think when you saw that safety car at the end?
Yeah, that was amazing. We lost a bit of our lead because of that, but we're a bit tight on fuel, so it was good to get the late safety car.
Fantastic job, guys. Congratulations. Enjoy the celebration.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Big congratulations to all our Australian production cars. After 2 hours of endurance racing, 2 drivers, Trent White and Glenn Walker, bring home the win here tonight as it wraps up our racing for day number 1 of the 2 days of thunder here at Queensland Raceway. It's not all over yet, though, for round 3 of the Hi-Tech All Super Series. Join us tomorrow with the action back on track.
Okay, so that wraps up the first day at the Hi-Tech Oils Super Series. It is nearly time for Formula 1, so I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to go start the final practice session for Formula 1. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in around about 8 minutes time for the final practice session for Formula 1. See you guys then. Bye-bye.